107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB, WIBC HD3 W228CX, Indianapolis.
It's Kevin and Query.
I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay? All right, get the out of here.
I'm going to talk a lot about drills and fundamentals.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it!
On 93.5
Watch it!
and 107.5.
Boom, baby!
The Fan.
Kevin, I will readily admit to you, it is a sleep deprivation Friday, and I have no idea why I couldn't sleep last night, but maybe it's because I was already in anticipation of September 11th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
You were so excited about this Colts schedule, right? At Houston, you were like, man, touchdown favorite. Should I, eat up those points there?
Something. If they don't, if the Colts don't go to Houston and win, when was the last time they won a season opener?
Terrell Pryor and the 2013 Oakland Raiders at the time.
If they don't snap that streak, then they need to have Mayflower trucks at West 56th, and they can go back to Baltimore or wherever. There's zero chance they do not win in Houston, right?
I think we said that last year with Jacksonville.
I was going to say, this sounds like the final Friday of the regular season.
Listen, it's May. I mean, who knows what happens between now and then?
Didn't we say that 2 years ago about the season opener in Jacksonville, too?
I mean, who knows? Here's the thing, and I know that we will do it today. It's a little preposterous at this point to even predict, like, well, they'll win here, lose there. You have no idea who's going to be healthy, who makes the roster. I mean,
Better chance they end the 8-year season opener drought in week 1 or the 7-year Jacksonville drought in week 2.
My buddy Tom Stallings from Jacksonville is in town. We were out yesterday, and he was laughing, and he's like, you guys aren't into that streak. I said, well, I don't play, but the Colts, yeah. I think Jacksonville will be slightly improved. I mean, they at least now have an actual adult coaching them. That helps, right? But, listen, at the very least, you start 1-1. There's no way they start 0-2, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's a great start of the season. I think this is really what you wanted. I think you want to do, if we were going to rank the games yesterday, like 1-17, 1 being the hardest, this would have been 2 of the, 4 or 5 at the bottom of that list. And I think that's critical. I think with Matt Ryan, a new quarterback, a new defensive coordinator, I think it's really important to try and finally play from ahead. And when's the last time the Colts have started 2-0? We know 1-0. It's been 8 years. And then you look at what you have, 3, 4, 5. After at Houston, at Jacksonville, Jake, you got Kansas City, Tennessee at home, both those. And then you got a short week in the altitude against Denver. That, to me, is the hardest stretch of the season. Right there. 3, 4, 5.
Here's what I've always said. And by the way, good morning to you. My name is Jake Query. That is Kevin Bowen. Marc Dykton here as well. It's Kevin and Query, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. We have a big announcement coming up at 8 o'clock this morning that we'll get to. A fun event that's going to be taking place that we'll tell you all about. We'll do that in the 8 o'clock hour. But, Kevin, I like the fact their bye is in mid-December.
Second year in a row, the latest bye in the NFL.
I have always thought that's an advantage.
What I like, too, is unlike last year, Jake, you get the earlier bye, mini bye. What is that? October 6th. You play Denver on the Thursday night. Then you have the mini bye right after that. So it's a little bit more spaced out. Remember last year, you had the Week 14 bye week, the latest in the NFL. Your mini bye, your Thursday night game leading into that weekend off, wasn't until early November. So you didn't have a single break through the first 2 months of the season. This year, you get that mini bye a little bit earlier. The other stretch that stood out to me, again, week 3, 4, 5, the fact that those are 3 AFC opponents, Kansas City, Tennessee, and then Denver on a short week, I think that is the toughest kind of 3-game stretch. If you look the middle of the season, all the way really until about Christmas, these are all, I think, playoff caliber teams. Sure. New England, at Las Vegas, home to Philly, home to Pittsburgh, at Dallas, throw in your bye week. You never know with Minnesota. And then the Chargers coming out in week 16 as well. I mean, that's what, 7 straight teams that I think you would all kind of put on the same level as the Colts of like, yeah, those teams could win 10 games this year, if not more.
The biggest beauty of all for the Colts is playing once again in the AFC South. Because if you look at the other games, they're all pretty solid opponents, right? To your point. But every time, the only problem with starting at Houston and Jacksonville, aside from it being on the road, was, or is, I should say, those are games that every once in a while it's kind of nice to get those sprinkled in as, I mean, Houston you end with, which is good because you know you're going to need a win possibly, right? But it's always good to kind of sprinkle those throughout, Kevin, as like your, I don't know, in college, did you ever have like a class, like you had a lot of Tuesday, Thursday classes, and then like on Wednesday you had like one class, and so that was just kind of your catch up, get caught up on sleep, laundry day, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what what Houston and Jacksonville are. Like just kind of re-get your footing type. So to get two of those right out of the way, I mean, I get it. It's not a bad start, but it is nice to have those kind of sprinkled throughout.
Unfortunately, Jacksonville hasn't really fallen into that category.
Well, you're right.
In recent years.
You're right.
I don't love, for the second year in a row, both Tennessee games before Halloween.
Yeah. Done before halfway through the season.
5 of your 6 divisional games in the first 7 weeks of the year. You then take a massive time away from the AFC South before the end of the season with Houston. I thought the NFL was trying to get to this point where you put kind of a marquee divisional game late in the season, if not in that final week of the year. And like Jake said, the Colts will close out with the Texans. So, you know, by Halloween for the second straight season, you're going to know full well if you're in the driver's seat or not of the AFC South.
For me, the problem with having both Tennessee games done by Halloween is the fact that, by all account, if everything goes as expected, those are the two teams that are going to be vying for the division. So from a fan standpoint, it would be exciting to have one of those matchups late in the year.
Yeah, I just think it loses a little intrigue.
Totally. By the way, Stallings did text me. He's listening to the show and said, you are correct. You cannot predict records at this point, but it's fun to say the Colts are going to be 0-2 after 2 weeks. Go Jags. Hope springs eternal in Jacksonville. Tom last night, first time to Indianapolis for him, or at least extensively. So he went to St. Elmo, and I told him, I said, you got the shrimp cocktail sauce is like really sweet. You just got to get a ton of it on there.
Get it for dessert.
And I haven't. He was supposed to let me know how it went. I haven't heard from him. But which one of the two of you was it that was the shrimp eating champion?
Marc for sure.
Yeah. I still have the belt, wear it with pride around the house.
Stallings has drank all the water in his hotel.
That's right. He's walking around right now looking to see if anybody has a bottle of water in the shape of a choo-choo train that he can replace to save the $20.
Well, Kevin pulled out a bottle of milk right before the contest. I'm like, what is this?
A little milk action.
Veteran move.
Dialed up Joey Chestnut. That was his advice on that. 2 Monday nighters in Indianapolis. We dropped that little birdie yesterday on the show. Chargers and Steelers would be in primetime. Indeed, those are the 2 home primetime games, and those won't be flexed. Monday nighters. Week 12, that will be Pittsburgh, so that's November 28th. And then week 16, Colts will not play on Christmas this year. It'll be December 26th. That will be the Chargers, Justin Herbert, in primetime.
And that game is there or here?
Both home.
Chargers, yeah.
Irsay's doing jumping jacks.
That's right. Spending the holidays.
First time for the Manning cast, both those games?
The Manning cast, I was surprised, Kevin. I know we've talked about this, but it surprised me when the ratings finally came out for that. I figured the Manning cast would have been like massive, 60% of the football audience was watching that version of the broadcast, and that was not the case. Surprised me.
Yeah, I think if you have a lot of interest in that Monday night game, either you cheer for those teams or a fantasy gambling interest, you were sticking to the normal broadcast.
Think so?
I thought the Manning broadcast, and, trust me, it's a great broadcast. but it wasn't really great at keeping you up to date on the game itself. Time, score, who individually is having big games,
Right.
and things like that. Which, again, that's not meant to be there. So, no Manningcast last year when the Colts were on Monday Night Football against the Ravens. We'll see if they get that for Pittsburgh and or the Chargers. New Year's Eve, Times Square.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's very cool. Go to Times Square, and my understanding is if you go to New Year's Eve in Times Square, you need to wear Depends.
I have heard that. Yep.
There's like no restrooms anywhere, and you got to wait in line for like 8. You're just standing out there for like 8 hours. Matter of fact, I have never talked, and I will say, like most, I'm like, it would be cool to at least once do New Year's in Times Square, right? That said, I have never met anybody. Do you know anybody, Mark, that has done that?
No.
Kevin, do you know anybody that's done it?
Yeah, my aunt and uncle live about 40 minutes north of the city, and they have done it.
I have never met a single person that has done it that has said anything other after the fact than, I will never do that again, and it was one of the worst things I've ever done.
Yeah, I believe their first comments were about the urination issues.
I mean, that's a challenge, right? Because it's cold. You know that. It's going to be, even in unseasonable conditions, it's 35 or 40. So you're either drinking hot chocolate or adult beverages for hours to keep yourself entertained, and you're just sardined in. What would you do?
Over under 77 Colts fans that will do the Times Square New York Giants
over.
New Year Day.
Over.
Trip.
Way over.
I can't think of something I'd like to do less than that.
Because of the Colts Giants on New Year's Day, potentially in the snow?
What about something
or
at
Times
Lambeau?
Square?
Times Square. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta eat something. What
They
are
got
we
a
doing?
Fridays right there, and the Chili's right
You
there.
have to
in
leave
Times
your
Square.
spot then.
That's the only weather game, right?
It's a good point.
Vikings play indoors, but that trip, good luck with that trip. I think the last time the Colts played in Minnesota, I want to say it was like December 17th, so could be the exact same date, -15.
Boy, you are right now. The only other tricky weather game, boy, you're not kidding.
Are you going Foxborough November 6th?
Yeah, that'll be 35 and raining, right? But, boy, you're not kidding.
Commanders, 425 game, Carson Wentz. So CBS wanted that in the 425 slot. That is notable.
Is that a Nance and Romo game, you think?
Could be Nance and Romo.
Did you watch the NBA last night, by the way?
No. Once again, God, neither of those games really. I watched a little Heat Sixers.
So did James Harden.
Boy, how about that?
I'm a Jimmy Butler dude, Jake. I know people hate him.
He is a dude,
but when
right?
he wears your jersey, you love him.
He had a great, I loved this. After the game, loved it. Jimmy Butler was interviewed. And I can't remember who was doing the courtside interview after the game. And they said, here it was, a game like this. Take me through what you think it means with your leadership. And he literally stopped. Did you hear this?
I saw the clip walk into the locker room. I didn't see the on floor.
He stopped the reporter and said, our leadership. This entire team is leaders. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why a team with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Max Strus.
Jake, they started Gabe Vincent and Max Strus last night in a road clinching game. We talked earlier in the week. Player development. No one epitomizes that better than the Heat. You watch a ton of the Heat. Duncan Robinson's fallen out of the rotation. He's a guy that they've developed. Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, it sounds like they should be playing for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Eric Spoelstra can flat out coach, man. I'm telling you. Like, Miami just rotates players in. You want to talk about a true team, they are a team.
Culture is a very overused term.
It is, but not there.
But there is like a Butler way, plug and play sort of.
No doubt about it.
Puzzle that they just seem to find the right pieces on an annual basis. Should the Suns be worried? It will now go to a Game 7, and I don't think there's any debating this. It might be in Phoenix. Dallas will have the best player. in Game 7.
I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, the thing that has been interesting to me is these keep them alive games for teams, and they're winning huge.
These routes.
Correct.
Dallas absolutely dominates Phoenix last night. Phoenix will experience a Game 7. They did not do that last year, didn't do it in the first round, so that will be Sunday. We'll see if we get Game 7s out of tonight's matchups. It will be Milwaukee trying to clinch on home floor against Boston, and then it'll be Golden State trying to do it after they got drilled in Game 5. They will do that, or try to do that, at home against Memphis. So what? It's both home teams trying to clinch tonight?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know what's funny? I woke up this morning, or actually just, at one point checked my phone because I'd never slept. And for whatever reason, the ESPN mobile site, do you ever have this happen where you go to it, you type in ESPN.com, and then it comes up from something like 2 weeks ago? Like the whole page?
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
So that happened, and the first thing that came up, it was when Boston defeated Milwaukee to tie things in Game 4. But I looked at it, and I'm like, I didn't even realize they played last night. Like, holy cow, they're going to Game 7 now. Boston, went on, and, but the thing is, the fact, Kevin, that, that was plausible, right?
Yeah.
That was plausible. One other story that happened overnight, and maybe we'll get into this more later, but it's a bizarre story. Did you see this story with Jerry Jeudy?
Yes, arrested, and at the time there weren't kind of clear charges.
Okay, yeah.
Something domestic violence related?
I'm going to read, this is directly off of ESPN.com, okay? From Inglewood, Colorado, which if you're not familiar with Inglewood, Colorado, is just south of downtown Denver, but it is the elite area.
And Broncos wideout Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
I think everybody
Denver
knows.
Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy was arrested Thursday by the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department, and according to the sheriff's office, was charged with second-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer, which is a misdemeanor. But he was held without bond.
It's a lot of legal criminal jargon that I just...
It is, and furthermore, I don't understand.
You said misdemeanor?
If it's a misdemeanor, how are you held without bond?
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't know. Tampering with evidence, or tampering with, what was the exact phrase? Enhancement? Sounds like a commercial that we play on these airwaves.
It says, there was no physical contact made in the dispute between Jeudy and the mother of his 1-year-old daughter. It solely involved property, and there was no damage to property. I guess he stopped. She came to retrieve items, and he wouldn't let her do so. I don't know.
Jake, I think the Denver game for the Colts this year is a great little trip. Thursday nighter, fly out there Thursday, midday, and then boom, you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Denver.
It's a great city. There's a lot to do. A lot to do. You can go to Red Rocks. I should look and see if Red Rocks has a concert.
Look up that schedule.
Yeah.
How about the NFL giving Carson Wentz at Jacksonville week 1? Come on, right?
Sending him right back to...
Jeez. One team with no prime-timers. Who do you think?
But here's the thing, do you think Carson Wentz even thinks about that?
Oh, I think he's a little bit more of a mental, than...
That's probably true. There's probably some truth to that.
One team with no prime-timers. Pretty obvious.
Jags?
Yeah, I guess that would be more obvious than this team.
Texans?
The Fighting Dan Campbells.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, but they're on Hard Knocks, right?
Yes, they are.
And aren't they? Are they ankle biting again this year, or what was it?
It was kneecapping. Correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Aiden Hutchinson is biting kneecaps, getting ready to play for Dan Campbell. The Chiefs, the first team in NFL history with 8 straight games to start a season against teams that had a winning record last year.
That's pretty imposing, right? Now
that's AFC West for you, and the Colts are in that. Week 3, Colts home opener, Kansas City. So you want to make your season ticket package back, you just sell that home opener, and then you go to the final 7 home games.
By the way, Red Rocks concert series.
Yep.
I believe you saw them, Kev. Camp.
Yeah, 2 A's.
Yeah, they'll be there the 3rd and the 4th.
Camp? So is that what you do? You just camp?
Well, it's CAAMP.
What's the extra
Double
A stand for?
I don't know. But they're there. And then Incubus will be, that's a solid.
Wow.
What kind of music is camp?
Camp is like a knocked off Mumford & Sons.
Okay. Is Mumford & Sons still a thing? They're okay. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but like,
that was kind of harsh on Mumford & Sons.
Well, no, I mean, they were like everywhere for a while there. Are they still?
I saw them
like
at
new
Banker's
stuff?
Life, and it was an outstanding
I mean,
performance.
I mean, I have nothing against them. They for a while there, 10 years ago, they were everywhere.
We're going to get some Game 7s in the NHL, aren't we?
We are. When we do the morning checkdown, I'll give you the rundown as to who they are because I've got to look first.
We will talk a little GP as well on the show today. Sounds like some rain is growing in the afternoon forecast.
There we go.
For tomorrow. But you were saying they can race in the rain, right?
They do. There's a book about it, The Art of Racing in the Rain.
I'm mad at
about a
Rich
dog that
Strike's
passed away.
trainer. I think I'm mad at the Kentucky Derby.
How about that, man?
I think I'm mad at the Derby more than Rich Strike's trainer. We'll get into that as well. No hotter team in baseball than the one just down I-74. They shut out the pesky Pirates yesterday. We'll hit on that. Matt Taylor, 8:30, is going to go over the Colts schedule. We'll unpack it all here over the next couple of hours. And a big station announcement coming up at 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. Kevin Bowen, Jake Query, Marc Dykton on another gorgeous morning. Happy Friday.
The NTT IndyCar Series returns to the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Rossi trying to go around Will Power. Will Power locks him up. He will get into the grass.
Rinus VK's going to go through the middle. He's going to split the two Ganassi cars, and he'll take that position. Here he comes, Mark James. The checker's out, and he is a winner.
It's the GMR Grand Prix of Indianapolis. Tomorrow, coverage at 2. Flag drops at 3. On your home for the month of May. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
You want to do your own lawn care and pest control, but you're not sure if you can get pro results? You can with DoMyOwn.com. They have pro products, the pro knowledge, and the pro support you need to use them. DoMyOwn.com for the pro in you.
Finding an affordable place to live can be tough. This is Trevor Meeks of INHP, and our programs are helping people access more options. Find out how we do it at INHP.org.
Jake Query here. Recently I returned to college to finish my degree, and I encourage you to join me. Whether you're like me and life simply got in the way, or you never went to college at all, Indiana offers financial assistance for those ready to move forward. If I can do it, I know you can too. If you're looking for a better job or doing it for your family, Indiana has grants to pay for over 150 certificates in high-wage industries. You're sure to find a tuition-free option that fits you. To apply, visit nextleveljobs.org today. Sponsored by the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. That's nextleveljobs.org.
The Fed has raised rates, but it's not too late for you.
There's still time to put extra cash in your pocket with a cash out refinance from Golden Oak Lending.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak, and I urge you to call now. With home values at all-time highs and Golden Oak Lending's low rates, you can pull more cash out of your home.
Call 317-706-GOLD today to get a free mortgage checkup and find out how much cash you can get. It's more than you think. Our average cash out customer saves $904 a month.
That's right. Plus, Golden Oak still has millions of dollars available, and you can skip 2 mortgage payments.
It's risk-free, and our local loan officers will get you qualified in minutes. We'll never ask for your credit card, and if we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge. Call 317-706-GOLD today. That's 317-706-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
O'Reilly.
If your vehicle squeals or grinds when you slow down or just isn't stopping like it used to, you may need new brake rotors and pads. Now through May 24th at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore safe braking and save money now at O'Reilly Auto Parts or order online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's JMV for my friends at Love Heating and Air Conditioning. John and Chris Love are the guys I trust to take care of my home when it comes to heating and cooling. The Love family has been serving Central Indiana for well over 100 years, and right now you can get $95 off your spring service. Get your air conditioner ready for spring and that hot summer and save $95. That's Love Heating and Air Conditioning, 317-754-0754 or love-hvac.com today. Tell them JMV sent you.
Huber has it.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com. Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Hey, it's Jake Query. Do you need more racing this month? Look no further than the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, powered by Lincoln Tech. Saturday nights at the Speedrome feature family-friendly racing action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun, always capped off by the world-famous, wild, and unpredictable Figure 8. Adult tickets are only $10. Kids 8 and under are free. The Indianapolis Speedrome at the corner of Brookville Road and Kitley Avenue and 1 mile west of 465 on Indy's southeast side. More information at speedrome.com.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Relieving your joint pain at QCkinetics.com. On 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Jake, it's GP weekend. Rinus VeeKay, the defending champ, quals later today at 4 o'clock. They got a morning practice and then a lunchtime practice as well. 3:20, the green flag tomorrow there. 85 laps, and you will be posted where?
I will be on turn 2 of the oval, which technically speaking is turn as they work their way off of the interior of the road course back onto the oval, the wrong direction, so to speak, and then they dive into turn 12 that snakes them around. So I'll be on the south end of the track of the oval is the easiest way to say it. So it'll be fun. We'll have
turn 1's always eventful.
Oh, man. No doubt about it. Michael Young will be down there. Nick Yeoman has the unenviable task of calling it from the roof of the pagoda, which I did for MotoGP. And it was really funny when MotoGP was here. They brought a guy in to go over for us the different bikes. And he's like, now, Pedrosa's got the orange stripe on the rear fender. And I'm like, they're motorcycles, and I'm calling them from the 11th floor of the pagoda.
Yeah, and they're moving fast.
They're going 200 miles an hour.
Good luck.
But it should be a fun weekend. And then, you know, obviously they get things turned around, and then Tuesday back to the oval and preps for the Indy 500.
Teased it earlier, Game 7s in the NHL coming up tomorrow. It'll be Lightning at Maple Leafs, Bruins at Hurricanes, and Kings at Oilers. Obviously, our hockey fandom, probably not extensive, but a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's pretty cool. Now, the one team that avoided a Game 7, I guess they did avoid a Game 7. St. Louis eliminating the Wild. That's right. St. Louis went wild over it. They're feeling the Blues in Minnesota.
Tonight, Celtics at Bucks. Bucks favored by 1.5 there as they try to clinch. The Grizz at the Warriors. The Warriors, again, favored by a good amount, 8.5. The Ja Morant injury situation playing into that. If Boston is able to force a Game 7, that would be on Sunday, just like Phoenix and Dallas, that Game 7. If Memphis upsets Golden State on the road, that would be on Monday as the Game 7 there.
And Major League Baseball, hottest team, Kevin mentioned it in the land right now, the Red Legs of Cincinnati. You know, I don't know if you know this or not, they're not even wearing socks. They're so hot, their legs are that red. Reds 4-0 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. It was the Mets 4-1 over the Nationals. Phillies 9-7 yesterday over the Dodgers. And question is, do the White Sox suck?
They're a dead even, 15-15.
They've gotten decimated by injuries.
One of the bigger disappointments this season. Yeah. Obviously, injuries have played a role, but
15-7 losers to the Yankees yesterday.
The Reds are as hot as Skyline chili.
Do you like Skyline chili?
Well,
no. When you say hot, do you mean temperature hot?
I was going to say you go one way. It could be hot when you're eating it, and it could be hot in a few minutes after you eat it, if you know what I mean.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
4-0 for the Reds yesterday. 4-hitter from Connor Overton. Any relation to Lara or Matt Overton?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
I mean, the Reds
I'm going to say
are-
yes.
What?
Is he from New Albany?
I'd have to look that up. Where's Matt Overton from?
Matt Overton, no relation to Lara Overton. That much I know.
Yes.
Matt Overton is from Northern California.
Cubs
Father
didn't
was
play.
a firefighter.
Really?
Yeah.
Cubs didn't play yesterday, right, Mark?
No, they were off.
They played Idaho Lower East. What? When I was a kid, when the team was idle, it would say like Indiana idle on the ticker, and I thought it was Idaho Lower East.
Oh, man.
Rich Strike, Jake, not running the Preakness. Can we make an amendment here? New Kentucky Derby rule.
Okay.
If you want to race in the Derby, you have to commit to racing in the Preakness as well.
Fair. Now, I will say this. If you win true or false, if you win the Derby, one would assume that means that your owner is now wealthy. True or false? If you win,
sure, yeah.
Especially if you were bought for $35,000.
Right, yeah.
So does that make that literally a Rich Strike?
Oh, God.
I'm just saying. I mean, you got to be. He's being true to the name, right?
I just think there is.
Well,
Thank you, Mark. You know, Jake's similar. And I know it's not apples to apples, but Jake, think about it. The winner of the Indy 500, you win it. Think about the obligations that come that next day, that next week, etc. I feel like for a sport like that, I get the Derby and the Preakness are not the exact same event, and I assume the people at Churchill Downs run the Derby and the people at Pimlico run the Preakness.
Correct.
But I just think for the sport, attention, all of that.
Well,
I get injuries. I get that it's a quick turnaround, but if you're gonna run the Derby, you have to sign something that says, if I win, I will enter the Preakness.
I mean, Kevin, it's just like in the Indianapolis 500 when the schedule used to be such that they would go to Texas from here. Eddie Gossage was, I don't know that it was ever like mandated, but I mean, it was certainly like with Weldon in 2011. Like, look, we've got to get the Indy 500 winner in the next oval race. You know what I mean?
Wasn't Elio last year kind of a question mark too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of, that they added races to it because they're like, well, once you win the 500, that changes everything in terms of selling tickets elsewhere. Now, what was and pardon my naivete here, what was the reason for Rich Strike's scratch?
I just don't think they prepared for this gauntlet of a race schedule of Derby, 2 weeks would be the Preakness, and then 3 weeks will be the Belmont. I believe the trainer said that he will race in the Belmont, but not in the Preakness.
Does he have a little sign? Is he picketing out front? Is he striking something?
They did not catch any glimpse of the stable there and Rich Strike's thoughts on it. I don't.
It'd be odd.
I think it was a no comment.
Be odd if
Rich
the
Strike.
sign was glued together, wouldn't it?
The Pacers hold their first draft workout today. The list of players, I don't think any of them will be drafted in the top 10.
Yeah, you know what? I had a dream last night, so I did sleep a little bit apparently, but I did have a very, very vivid. You know how, honestly, kidding aside, you know how sometimes during your dream something happens during the dream that makes it very apparent it's a dream, where you're like, well, this is clearly I'm dreaming because I'm flying, or whatever. I had a dream last night that had nothing in it to present it as being non-reality, that I was watching the lottery announcements of the placements. Do you want to know where the Pacers ended up, Kevin?
Wait, hold on. We're going to do that.
Where? Gosh, when you're dreaming about the lottery. Whew.
The 7th pick.
Which is the one that they are favored to be in.
I was watching it, and the way that they were doing it was partnered up where it looked like the Pacers were going to get the number one, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're going to get the number one, and then they unveiled the 7th, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you wake up in a cold sweat? What happened?
I didn't wake up. It was like I don't even know that I was fully asleep. It was like a weird daydream. I don't know.
Domantas Sabonis will be the rep for the Kings at the lottery. That will be on Tuesday. All right, we come back. Let's go over the Colts schedule a little bit more. We'll take a closer look at the divisional matchups, the primetime games, and exactly what the layout looks like for the Colts here in 2022. Your thoughts on the schedule as well. 317-239-1070. Matt Taylor joins us at 8:30.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan.
Payless Liquors is all ready for the warm weather and your outdoor activities with plenty of options under $20. Southern Comfort variety packs are only $4.69. Mom Water 4-packs, $8.99. You can pick up Crown Royal cocktails for only $12.99. St. Elmo's canned cocktails, $14.99. And 18 packs of the 16-ounce cans from Coors Light and Bud Light are only $19.99. Payless has 26 family-owned locations, including 30th and Georgetown, Rockville Road, and Lafayette Road to take care of you race fans. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Hey there, Jake Query. You know, I would love for you folks to help yourself build a better future. You can do so for free, actually, with Next Level Jobs. That is correct. NextLevelJobs.org. If you are one of those who is in that gap between high school, a high school diploma, and a college degree, you can earn valuable training and certificates in 5 growing industries throughout the state of Indiana. Advanced manufacturing, building and construction, health and life sciences, IT. Think about IT. IT and business services, IT is always looking for people. Transportation and logistics, and as little as 150 hours, you can get certified in any of those areas, and you can do it and earn an associate's degree tuition-free in the state of Indiana. Listen, I'm back in school taking classes online. If I can take algebra right now, I promise you folks, you can find the time to get it done. It's enjoyable, actually, just to kind of work at your own schedule. Do it for your family, do it for your dreams, or do it just simply because, like me, you want to complete a goal that you set out but never actually finished. You can join the 25,000 success stories of people who have found the training they need from Next Level Jobs. Again, find all the information at nextleveljobs.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Banks are great for car loans and credit cards, but when you need to buy a home, you need an expert. We can answer all of your questions, get you pre-approved the day you call in, and close on your refinance or home purchase in weeks, not months. Skip the long lines and high costs at the banks and get pre-approved today for your next home purchase or a refinance at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
This is May. Racing ignites May 14th with the GMR Grand Prix as the stars of the NGT IndyCar Series rip through the twists and turns of the IMS Road Course. The 21st and 22nd, drama, speed, and excitement with qualifying in the Fast 9. Then Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Carb Day, returns with Kings of Chaos and Rick Springfield on the 27th. And all roads lead to the 106th running of the Indy 500 presented by Gamebridge on Sunday, May 29th. Come back home again. Tickets at IMS.com.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden in Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. Our stores are blooming with flowers, hanging baskets, bedding plants, perennials, annual containers, shrubs, trees, and much more. With so many colors and varieties, it's the best looking selection you'll find anywhere. Come see the difference. Why, you ask? Our plants are from top quality Midwest growers, many right here in Indianapolis. Check the specials on our patio furniture like all-weather wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. You can even choose your own custom cushions on most sets. We specialize in excellent quality mid-price patio furniture that's in stock at our 37,000 square foot warehouse. All priced at 30% off. See our large selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and the Big Green Egg. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Ward Daniels, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life, We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Having a hard time finding a nice used vehicle? Not at the Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood Tent Sale. Over 200 repos, lease turn-ins, and local trades available starting at $99 a month. Cash cars from $995. Most with a Chomwood lifetime powertrain coverage. Bank reps on site for instant approval. All prices or payments displayed. No negotiating necessary. 4 days only, Wednesday through Saturday at Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood. Home of guaranteed credit. US 31 and stop 18.
Terry Stacy here with your American Standard Race Day weather, brought to you by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer. The IndyCar GMR Grand Prix is Saturday on the road course at IMS. 80 degrees and a 50% chance of thunderstorms. Better keep the Firestone rain tires ready. NASCAR in Kansas Sunday, 78 degrees and a 40% chance of rain. American Standard Race Day weather brought to you by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Hey, it's Jake Query. Wendy's has one kind of breakfast, a better one. Start your day with a Wendy's sausage, gravy, and biscuit. We're talking savory grilled breakfast sausage and a creamy Southern-style black pepper gravy served on top of a warm, freshly baked buttermilk biscuit. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's.
I got a million ways to get it. Choose one. Hey, bring it back. Now double your money and make it stack.
You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Colts schedule is out. 4 games in prime time. So we mentioned on yesterday's show 2 home prime timers. That will be November 28th, a Monday nighter against Kenny Pickett's Steelers, Mitch Trubisky's Steelers. That point in the season, have they turned to Pickett?
Boy, that's a good question.
We know who the quarterback will be a month later on Monday Night Football at Lucas Oil Stadium. That will be Justin Herbert and the Chargers. So, again, 2 Monday Nighters. The other games in prime time, you'll be at Dallas on Sunday Night Football. That's December 4th. Now, Dallas will have extra prep for that one because they play on Thanksgiving, of course, the week prior. And the Colts will have a Sunday night game, October 6th, against Denver. I think throughout the show, it'd be good just kind of break things up into quarters. That first quarter, Jake, at Houston, at Jacksonville, home to Kansas City, home to Tennessee, all 1 o'clockers. Your thoughts?
If they lose both of the first 2, they get relegated. And they actually go
USFL, Birmingham,
correct.
Is that right?
That is right. If they start 0-2, then on September 25th, they actually take on the Birmingham Stallions.
But you'll certainly be tuned in because you've been consuming the USFL.
I have been a little busy lately, but I do enjoy it. Listen, the foes are not formidable on paper in May, which means very little, I realize. But it's certainly, even though they're on the road, and that's the challenge, they're on the road. But I told you, Kevin, I kind of to me, it's best case because I said, I think road games, I think players will tell you that road games sometimes are good. That's kind of where you bond with your guys, so to speak. That's where you can really kind of come together and get a feel for yourself. And the season's getting underway, and you've been at camp, and you've been around it all. You get on the road, you just kind of, let's go, let's see what we got. And I think if they get one of those 2, they're fine. They cannot start 0-2, but
I think you need both.
I mean, you need both, but I think
Jake, those are library quiet road environments.
No, I get it. And I mean, in Houston, somebody already checked out half the books and haven't run them back yet. I mean,
7.5 point favorite. I think last I saw 8 point favorite in week 1, the biggest of any team in week 1. And that's with the Colts going on the road.
They already have point spreads out.
Oh, yeah.
Jake, they got over-unders on how long we're going to live.
Well, I got news for you. People were probably already up at the cashier's window back in October of 20.
So you'll get all 3 divisional opponents in the first 4 weeks of the season. Kansas City. Mark, will you look up Kansas City's schedule, if you don't mind? I think they've got, they've got tough games throughout those first 8.
Yeah, theirs is brutal.
Where the Colts are going to circle that one a little bit more, given the first 2 opponents. Who does Kansas City have the first 2?
At Arizona, home against the Chargers.
And that Chargers game, is that on a Sunday?
Thursday.
So
That's
they
the
will
first
get a
Thursday
little extra time.
That's the first Amazon Thursday night game.
That's right. They announced that during the draft. So Kansas City will have a little bit of extra prep lead into it. Tennessee's schedule, they are at Buffalo and the Raiders leading into the Colts in week 4.
Boy, that's not... Tennessee could really be in trouble at the beginning, right?
Now, something else to note about the Titans' schedule, the Colts will see them in week 7. They will have their bye the week before that.
My buddy, Kansas City Steve, big Chiefs fan.
You got buddies in every market. Stallings in Jacksonville, Steve in Kansas City.
Steve lives here, but he's a huge
Who's
Chiefs
your buddy
fan.
in Vegas?
Oh, thank you for asking. My cousin Brad lives there, and then, my buddy Ken, who does radio in Vegas.
Well, we got to have him on. Sports?
Yeah, he does a sports talk show in Vegas. We can have him on. He's pumped up for the home opener, and he said, will you guys be doing a game day show? Certainly the station will be doing something, right?
Yeah, 10 a.m. typically on game days is when they start their pregame coverage there. I don't know if you or I necessarily will particularly be a part of that. But JMV, I think, typically does. Actually, I go on with John. I think he does a 9 a.m.er. He does an hour at 9. Rake and I usually hop on that one.
There are going to be opportunities for people to come out, though, with everybody you're talking about. We'll get to that coming up at 8 o'clock.
Ooh, nice tease.
Thank you. Jake, can you do your Ursay with a British accent for the schedule announcements?
Now, is that a made-up text? There's no way someone actually sent that to you.
Hold on. Hang on. There we go.
Are you putting numbers in your phone? Do you have another phone in your pocket? Because that was the first text that person ever sent to you.
Can you do your Ursay with a British accent for schedule announcements? That's exactly what it says right there.
So phone in the right pocket, texting your phone in the left pocket.
How would Ursay sound if he was British? I'm too tired right now to even figure out how I would do that.
Ira, where's my cab? That was horrible.
God, Mark, why'd you even try?
We are all chips in.
Oh, God.
I can't even do it. I don't know.
If they're out of fish and chips, then it's just fish.
That's right.
I don't
there
want
you go.
fish. I want all chips in.
Mark, see? That's what I like to hear. Kevin has left the studio. He's walked out, right?
I mean, usually you just kind of let Jake be, and Mark now is like, oh, I might as well join in.
I'm sleep deprived as well. So
now, why are you sleep deprived?
Oh my God, you don't even want to know.
No, I do want to know.
So my dad's on a business trip in Oregon.
Okay.
And so my mom went with them because they'd never been to Oregon. Like, I have
beautiful part of the country. Are they in Portland?
Yeah, well, near it.
Okay.
He had to do like 2 days of work, and then he had the rest of the week off. So he had like 5 days. They're come back next Tuesday, I think. So anyway, we have a family chat on WhatsApp, and my mom sent a text, said, Dad and I were in a fender bender earlier, just being checked out now at a medical facility. I may have broke my ankle. Do not worry, but we won't be able to text much at the hospital. And so I thought they're kidding and stuff. And then I was like,
hold on.
Fender bender and a broken ankle?
Bender. And then it goes on. And my dad says...
They get hit by an airplane?
Well, I said, so like fender bender, like, well, if you broke your ankle, that sounds like it's kind of serious. And then she's like, yeah, your father's getting checked out now. I think he's okay. And then my dad texted...
I think he's okay?
My dad texts and he goes, I have a severe right foot sprain, internal bruising, etc. But otherwise, okay, sore as hell. And I said, well, that sounds like more like a fender bender. What happened to the guy that hit you? He's like, oh, he got airlifted away. I'm like, airlifted? That's not a fender bender. That sounds like a serious car accident.
There is no more parent text than that exact language in those texts.
And then I said, so are you guys like just waiting? You're getting checked out. You're getting x-rays and stuff. Are you just waiting in the room together and stuff? Yeah, we're just here right next to each other. Literally the next text, my dad says, I'm about to go see your mom in her room. I said, I thought you just said you were sitting next to her. He's like, oh, whoops. Sorry, can't text much. Talk in the morning. That's the last I heard.
Okay.
God.
Now,
should
Kevin,
we be laughing at this?
I know. I don't mean to laugh. I certainly hope your parents are okay. But
I do too.
But I just
get maybe a selfie in the hospital bed. Something.
The ambiguity. Well, apparently they're in two different rooms, Kevin.
Well, 2 selfies.
The ambiguity of that is beautiful. I got this yesterday. This from my dad. Help, I've lost my cell phone. This is on an email. It's been missing for at least 2 full days. We've searched the house and cars many times and tried phoning as well. All I get is my voicemail. I've called all the places I've been in the last few days. I need some tech help to start over with a new one. If you have the time or talent, I'll make it worth your while to come help me get a new phone. Let me know who gets the short straw. That was to my sisters and I. Like literally 10 minutes later, false alarm. Just got a call from Mom asking about the reward. She was calling from upstairs in the room where she found the phone.
Sitting on the counter. Been there the whole time.
The other text for this, so about the guy that got airlifted. Heard badly injured, but should make it. What?
I was going to say we should certainly be thinking about him, not to undermine the broken ankle and the etc. I love to know what etc.
I know. That's what my brother said. He said, "What the blank is etc." I don't know.
The guy got, we got a fender bender, and the helicopter showed up, yada, yada, yada. I mean, okay.
Oh, some of my spine's out of line. No big deal.
Jake, speaking of cars, should I be worried about the ability for Tyrese Halliburton to fit in the 2-seater with Mario? Did you see that?
I did see that. Yes. How big is Halliburton? 6'what"?
6'5". So I've been in the 2-seater with Mario, and it's tight.
It's tight.
2 laps, and I got out of there thinking, and look, this could be on the road course. That's a lot more turns.
Okay, if Tyrese Halliburton is listening to this program, and I certainly assume he is.
317-239-1070.
That's right. Give us a call right now, Tyrese Halliburton, if you're listening, 239-1070. If you do the 2-seater on the road course, you've done it?
I've done the oval, but this obviously will be on the road course.
If you do it on the road course,
that's a lot of turns, man.
Eat like a banana or a peanut butter sandwich beforehand. You do not want to do that on an empty stomach. It will make you nauseous because it is way more than you realize in terms of the turns. Now, interesting point, Kevin. Justin Wilson, the late, great Justin Wilson, was the tallest IndyCar driver, certainly doing it since I have been covering it. He was essentially right at, how tall are you?
6'3".
So he was 6'4". And I was so cramped in there, and I said to Justin Wilson, I'm like, how in the world do you fit in this thing in a regular car? And he said one of the most mind-blowing, fascinating epiphanies to me. He said, actually, Jake, it's to my advantage. And I said, how is it to your advantage to be 6'4" and so cramped in the car? And he said, because my knees come up to the side of the steering wheel, and as a result, the radius in which I can turn the car is limited by about 25% what everybody else's is, so there is zero chance of me overturning too quickly into a corner and losing the rear end of my car because I can't turn the wheel that far.
Now, what if it's an accident in front of him and he's really got to get the steering wheel turning?
That's a good point. I mean, honestly, that's a good point. But I mean, there's enough that he could turn the car, but in other words, he didn't have enough to just do an immediate, a spin 180.
That makes sense. That's kind of a cool thing for Halliburton.
Oh, it's very cool. It's very cool, and it's listen.
So this is the pace car for the GP. This is how they kind of do. They do this at all the other races, the 2-seater.
Yes, fastest seat in sports. They do it. They usually have. Oh, I've seen. I mean, at the different. The only time. I'll give you a good trivia question in the final minute and 20. And then we got a big announcement coming up, by the way, at 8 o'clock. The only time, Kevin, in my career with an athlete that I have ever been starstruck, literally like speechless starstruck, like, oh my goodness, I am standing next to this person, was at Barber Motorsports Park, which is in Birmingham. The rider of the 2-seater and honorary starter of the race in Barber like 3 years ago. I'll give you one guess who it was. From Alabama, that's your hint.
Was Barkley?
Close. Really close.
Tebow.
Same school as Barkley. Different sports.
Cam Newton.
Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was standing there. Bo Jackson.
Why would you be that starstruck with Cam Newton?
Bo Jackson was a mythical figure when I was in high. I mean, peak Bo Jackson was 1990, my high school years,
right? And
he was a mythical figure. So it was just like, oh my gosh! And he was a very nice guy, very quiet, soft-spoken guy.
Were you sweating, stuttering?
Well, he has a speech impediment, which is why he's so quiet.
Really?
Quite frankly, yeah. But I was just standing there the whole time. I was just like, I can't believe that's Bo Jackson. Yeah, I was doing both, yes, to answer your question. Yes. It was pretty cool.
We come back here on Kevin and Query. We've got a big, I'd say station, not just show. I guess it could be a show announcement as well. Station/show announcement. You won't want to miss it. We've been looking forward to this for a couple of years now and really happy to announce it and tell you all about it. We'll do that next here. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Put on your helmet. It's about to get real.
Greg Cosell. Alec Pierce. You like?
Loved Alec Pierce. I didn't think there was much difference at all between Alec Pierce and Drake London based on my tape study. Over 6'3", he's 211. He's fast. He makes contested catches. He's a red zone weapon. I really, really liked his tape, and I watched him very early in the process. I came away thinking, wow, this guy's a really, really good prospect.
Dan Dockage. Weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Armor Air is more than a heating and cooling company. They cover it all. Their service fee is only $29. ArmorAir.com. Day or night, they do what's right.
Skip the long lines and high cost at the banks and get pre-approved today for your next home purchase or a refinance at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Hey there, it's Jake Query. You know, month of May is here, and right now racing is underway at Circle City Raceway as well as the Indianapolis Speedrome. If you need more racing this month, and who doesn't, look no further than the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, powered by Lincoln Tech, and of course at Circle City Raceway. This Saturday night, the Indianapolis Speedrome will again feature family-friendly racing action. That's the great thing about it. You got great food, the parking's free, the fun is nonstop at the Speedrome, and then of course it's topped off at the end. And this is the thing. Kids absolutely love this at the end. The world-famous, wild, and unpredictable figure eight racing and the big wheel races for kids 5 and under. Think about that. Kids 5 and under get to go out. They get on their big wheel. They get to ride around. How much fun is that? How cool is that for kids? Very is the answer. Affordable family entertainment. You can't beat the deal because adult tickets are just $10. Kids 8 and under are free. Information is available for the Speedrome at speedrome.com. Now, if you like racing on dirt, Circle City Raceway at the Marion County Fairgrounds is the place for you. Sprint cars will dominate the month of May. This Sunday, that's the 15th, this Sunday, the Jonathan Bird's 410 Sprint Cars headline a full night of action, along with Speed 2 Midgets, Outlaw Micros, and Shirley Unlimited Snow Company UMP Modifieds making their season debut. During Indy Race Week, USAC National Sprint Cars will be racing on the 25th and 26th, with Indy Midget Week on June 8th. You can find out all of the information at CircleCityRaceway.com. That's the Indianapolis Speedrome and Circle City Raceway, your Indianapolis racing destinations.
Realizing Geico has over 85 years of experience saving folks money and providing great customer service is like realizing there's a crumb tray on the bottom of your toaster, and you don't have to keep turning the toaster upside down to clean it.
How long has that been there? Hey, who needs some croutons?
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or realizing that baby carrots are just regular carrots that have been shaved down.
I don't care. They're still cute.
It's something you can't believe you never realized before. Like how Geico's 97% customer satisfaction rating means Geico is committed to providing the best service for their customers. Or how you can peel the top layer of tape off a lint roller and there's a fresh layer underneath.
Marcy, wait till you hear about the lint roller.
You mean how the handle is reusable?
Wait, what?
Trust. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
Looking for a job that puts you in the racing action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Eclipse Staffing and Security is hiring for guest services, credential checking, gate and cooler checking, the snake pit, and private events. Earn great pay and be a part of the team that makes sure the greatest spectacle in racing goes off without a hitch. Work a flexible schedule. Contact Eclipse Staffing and Security 317-426-3696 or email info@eclipsestaffing.com. That's info@eclipsestaffing.com.
Having a hard time finding a nice used vehicle? Not at the Chomwood Used Cars at Greenwood Tent Sale. Over 200 repos, lease turn-ins, and local trades available starting at $99 a month. Cash cars from $995. Most with a Chomwood Lifetime Powertrain coverage. Bank reps on site for instant approval. All prices or payments displayed. No negotiating necessary. 4 days only, Wednesday through Saturday at Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood. Home of guaranteed credit, US 31 and stop 18.
The Fed has raised rates.
But there's still time to put extra cash in your pocket with a cash-out refinance from Golden Oak Lending.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With home values at all-time highs and our low rates, you can pull more cash out of your home.
Call 317-706-GOLD today, while Golden Oak still has millions of dollars available.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Hey, it's JMV for the absolute best in realty. Marc Dietel Realty. 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. Online, marcdietel.com. That's Marc, DIETEL.com today. So how about Jeremy in Indianapolis? So he needed a bigger brand new home, right? And needed to maximize the price on his old house to make the financials all come together, right? So he heard about Marc Dietel, the success. He hired him for the job, and Marc, as usual, delivers. Getting the job done right. That's what you get with Marc Dietel Realty. Getting the job done right for you. In fact, Marc Dietel has a guarantee for you. Multiple offers on your home in 3 days, or he is going to list it for free. That's Marc Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232, 317-755-4232. MarcDietel.com. That's Marc, DIETEL.com today.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
16 days to go on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. It's Kevin and Query.
We'll have some classes at times.
Hey, we're calling the plays, all right? We gotta run the ball. When we pass, watch. We'll run the ball. Can we run it down there? Just play. We run it down. Yeah, Jeff. We will. All right, when we call pass plays, block.
On 93.5
Boom, baby.
and 107.5, The Fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, we have an announcement to make here. First off, that it is a gorgeous, spectacular-looking Friday, 8 o'clock in Indianapolis. Jake Query along with Kevin Bowen and Marc Dykton here on Kevin and Query, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
What a great week.
Perfect. And it's hopefully going to be a good weekend as well. At 1075thefan.com, you can see not only Kevin's breakdown of the Colts schedule, which was released yesterday, the schedule that being, and Kevin was working late last night, but in addition to that, you will see on the Indy 500 tab the content getting you set for the greatest spectacle in racing, including getting to know the different drivers in the field, videos that will be released next week of behind the scenes at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But most importantly, upcoming here, there's going to be a lot of information at 1075thefan.com, courtesy of, not the information, but the event, Larceny Bourbon, as well as Forum Credit Union. Kevin, we're going to get a chance off hours to hang out, the two of us. Marc will be there as well. And everybody loves a man cave. We're going to have a fan cave, and we want everybody to be there.
I cannot wait. This is going to be a night with the fan, or a night in the fan cave, brought to you by Forum Credit Union, Wednesday, June 22nd, at the Indiana Historical Society. Not only us, three, Dan and John will be on stage as well. It's going to be just an awesome, awesome night. Finally to get back, I think, in front of fans, mingle, interact, the whole shebang, sports talk, probably some bad British accents.
That's right, yes.
Food.
Let's all throw down a pint.
Well, there will be pints and there will be some Larceny Bourbon as well. So if you are a fan newsletter subscriber, you can buy tickets beginning on Wednesday. General public tickets are available on Friday.
1 week from today, right?
Correct. So for tickets and more info, again, 1075thefan.com. There's going to be a pre-show reception. Boy, a 90-minute hors d'oeuvre, beer, wine, liquor. Man, that could get a little loose there.
Jokes aren't going to be so bad, are they? Right?
Showtime is 7:30. So again, Wednesday, June 22nd, Indiana Historical Society.
That's a fabulous venue. Have you been there?
Awesome venue.
Dave's first wedding was at the Indiana Historical Society. It's beautiful.
Really?
It's a great venue.
Yeah, this could be fun. Interact with fans, mingle a little bit. The night before the NBA draft, so there will be kind of some relevant sports chatter as well. But mainly, I love to get out and do these public events. We did a lot of beers with Bo and stuff over the past few years. Weren't able to do one earlier this year, so really looking forward to it.
By the way, tonight at 8 o'clock, I will be with tickets, tickets to give away courtesy of Miller Lite. Be giving away tickets for Indianapolis Motor Speedway events tonight at World of Beers, downtown Indianapolis. World of Beers. I will be there tonight, 8 to 9 o'clock, courtesy of Miller Lite. I would love to have you folks come out for that. But again, the big one is Wednesday, June 22nd. Now, Mark, have you been working? You're the show producer, so have you come up with little skits that we're going to do, talent show type stuff?
Yeah. How are you guys going to do Romeo and Juliet, I believe?
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good.
Maybe some Othello.
That shrimp eating contest.
Oh, yeah.
Round 2.
We should do Cyrano.
I will challenge you if they're up for it. I'll do round 2 of that.
By the way,
Cyrano de Bergerac, you can just stand off to the side and make little witty comments.
That's
Mark.
true. That's what I do best.
Mark just tweeted out the link via our Twitter show page. I just retweeted it. So Kevin and Query, you can find the link there, the event page. A night in the fan cave. Not only us, Dan and John will be there as well. So again, it'll be a fun night filled with laughs, some sports chatter as well.
Actually, that's right around the time of the NBA draft, right?
Night before.
So there'll be plenty to talk about in that regard.
Night before the NBA draft. Matt Taylor is going to join us here in about 25 minutes. We're going to talk more Colts schedule. We kind of went over the first quarter of games. Looking at the second quarter, Jake, you've got Denver on a Thursday night. Again, any worry there? To me, short week altitude. Am I making too much of that?
No, you know what's funny? You've been to Denver, right?
Yes, many times.
I recall the first time that I went to Denver, I was in college, and a buddy of mine, Bo Vickers, was a native of Denver. So we all went out to Denver for the weekend, and we were playing pickup basketball. And I remember, I was like, whoa, I was super winded. And I had never been in the altitude before.
See, mine came from, I think, drinking too much. I was like, wow, this is kind of hitting me a little bit sooner than I thought.
That also happens, honestly. Now, it's not a huge thing, but I've always wondered, Kevin, look, John Elway is a fantastic, matter of fact, unpopular opinion, so I will say, since we're in Indianapolis, next to Peyton Manning, I'm not certain John Elway is not the greatest quarterback of all time, quite frankly, but in terms of his record that he had at one point, I think
save
he had
that for July.
Right.
That'll be a good July debate.
But I think he had the record for most fourth quarter comebacks at one point. But I've always wondered how much of that was attributed to the opposition running out of steam in the fourth quarter of games and him having the advantage being in Denver. Because you would always see the Broncos come back in games, right?
Or did Elway make mistakes early in games that forced them into coming back?
Maybe. But I'm telling you, teams would just be worn out. Now, and the Nuggets, that's why for a long time, in the early 80s, the Nuggets wanted to play fast-paced because they think that they could wear teams down. Getting too deep there, but, the Colts have gone there. I mean, the Vanderjet game in the snow, the Colts have gone there and won some games late with comebacks, so that kind of makes it a moot point. But
biggest one of the Pagano era. That divisional round game in Denver.
That's right. So I think when you look at it, Denver to me is a lot like the Colts. They have the potential to be pretty darn good this year, but it's all dependent upon probably the level of play they get from their new quarterback.
So the mini bye right there following week 5, and then it'll be home to the Jags, at Tennessee, and host the Commanders. That is the second quarter of that schedule. That Commanders game is 4:25. What do you think? More like 4:32 to get the 7-minute Carson Wentz tribute video in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Later? You think later?
Standing O, I assume.
Oh, yeah. I mean, blow the roof open.
Here's the thing. In the month of October, they've got a chance, the Colts do, even if they start 0-2, which they're not going to, but we were talking about that earlier.
Got to be 2-0.
I would think. But
I mean, look at those next 3 after the
They
first
have
one.
a chance, Kevin. The most critical point in the season for me is weeks 4 through 9, that stretch, because they have a chance to really separate themselves. If they can get both of those over Tennessee, which I realize is a big ask, But if they can start out by beating Tennessee to start October and then hold serve against, you've got Jacksonville, you've got Washington. I mean, those are, you should get both of those, right? Then all of a sudden, you got to get one of those two between Denver and Tennessee. You just break it down. And this is what teams do. You know, Kevin, you've been in the locker room. They break it down into quarters of the season, right?
Yeah.
That Denver, Jags, Tennessee, Washington coming off of Tennessee, like that little stretch right there to me is...
That's got to be 3-1.
Really important. Correct. It's a really important area.
And in general, getting off to a fast start, of course it sounds cliche, but this franchise has not done it. And you have, of your 6 divisional games, 5 of them are there in the first 7 weeks. I don't like it, frankly. I don't know why it's so front-loaded, especially both the Tennessee games, but that's the reality of it. So handling training camp differently, handling the preseason differently, been calling for it for years. Something has been off in your preseason preparation in starting the regular season. We should mention, and I know I don't mention this because anyone cares about the preseason schedule, but I'm curious if the Colts would do those joint practices again. Your preseason schedule is Saturday, August 13th at Buffalo. The following Saturday at home to Detroit. The following Saturday home to Tampa Bay.
They don't play Cincinnati?
No, the NFL went
a
away
tradition
from that.
like no other, right?
I want to say last year was maybe the first year that they stopped doing that. We've shortened the preseason by a game, thankfully. So yeah, at Buffalo, Detroit, Tampa Bay. The Colts typically host the joint practices. I guess you could host with Detroit there leading into that Saturday, really August 20th game.
You got kneecaps to protect.
Yeah, that is a good point. You could have some guys hurt. Now, or you could go to Buffalo. Buffalo has to go away for training camp,
Here's
right?
a dumb question. I'm almost embarrassed to ask this. It is such a dumb question. Hard Knocks is with Detroit in the preseason. Does that affect their ability to does that impact whether or not they're eligible to do that?
No, I don't think it would.
Mottman told me during the mini, and this is when I was worried that maybe he was, dehydrated, about mile 9, told me Lions Super Bowl.
See, I thought you were going to say 8 Mile there, an Eminem reference.
Well, that too.
Super Bowl as in, they'll be there and entertain clients, or they'll be there as a team?
He told me, he's like, this is the year. This is the year.
Boy.
Lions Super Bowl.
I didn't think it was that hot last week during the mini, and for him to be...
He said that's a Detroit annual thing, is that you say, hey, Super Bowl or bust.
We are both fans of the late bye week, right?
Absolutely. I think that is huge.
I mean, you were healthy late last year. Yeah, some COVID stuff happened, but you were a healthy bunch to close out the season. And that's needed because that stretch that we talked about is kind of a sneaky stretch. And it's really longer than just a stretch of this is November to Christmas. At New England, at the Raiders, home to Philly, home to Pittsburgh, at Dallas, bye week, at Minnesota, home to the Chargers. That is 7 games, Jake. I would consider all of those teams right now either playoff teams or very close to being playoff teams. I don't consider any of those teams like the top 5 in the league, but they're all pretty even with the Colts.
Here's the easiest way to say this in terms of their schedule. We know theoretically, and again, it's May, okay? I'm going to keep saying that, but we know theoretically that Houston and Jacksonville would be, on paper, the 2 opponents that you feel best about going in. About your chances, I mean. Who's third? Which opponent is the one that you most say, yeah, that's pretty doable?
Giants.
Think so? It's away.
Yeah, but aren't the Colts built for that weather? Didn't we see it last year? Kind of those sloppy road games, Buffalo, San Francisco. I don't know.
You think over Washington at home?
Yeah, God. I mean, can you imagine if Wentz threw for 250 and we just went double birds at Irsay's owner box?
Here's the thing, Kevin, you're going to laugh when I say this. I'm not even saying it as a knock or an attack on him. I don't know that Carson Wentz even grasps that would be appropriate for him to do. I'm not saying it would be appropriate, but you'll get what or expected of him to do.
It wouldn't be a Christian-like thing to do. I think he's had to have heard a little bit of it. Some North Dakota TV station didn't ask him about it when he came back for his charity softball game.
Yeah, no, you got to be upset there. That's more, I realize, Wisconsin than. Mark, have you been to North Dakota?
No.
What about Santiago, Chile?
Twice last year. Something you can expect at Night at the Fan Cave. Obviously, impressions.
Ticket sales just went
roaring
through the roof.
We know this.
Soaring through the roof.
We know this. We're on the stage for 20 minutes. It's going to be 18 and a half minutes of nothing but Tucker and Elvis, right?
Yeah, and Marc Parent updates.
Yeah.
That's right.
Etc. What does that mean?
You guys like the Thanksgiving slate?
Kind
of mad at me.
Yeah.
I mean, turkey's okay. The potatoes, not bad.
Bills, Lions. I guess if you're going to pair the Lions with anybody, Buffalo's fun to watch.
At least give me a route, I guess.
Giants, Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then the nightcap.
Settle down just a little bit.
Patriots, Vikings.
Yeah. That one doesn't do much of anything for me.
The nightcap last year was pretty good.
Who was it? I can't recall.
If I remember correctly. I knew I bet on it. Buffalo, New Orleans, I think. I could be wrong.
Here's the thing. I always like seeing the Lions on Thanksgiving. That's just the early game, Lions, Thanksgiving. I mean, they're terrible, but that's always the one game that they get kind of plucky.
Last year's was bad. Bills routed the Saints 31-6.
Yeah, but on paper, I guess
it looked good.
Breeze was gone. But
we had that really good Raiders-Cowboys game that went to overtime.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
What's his name? The kicker, Daniel Carlson. He was outstanding in that game.
There'll be one good one out of those three.
I think it's good for the Colts that this AFC West, you play the hardest division in football. I like how the games are spread out a bit.
Yeah, it would be tough if you had a gauntlet of like three of those back to back. Yeah,
Chiefs in week 3, Broncos in week 5, and then you don't play another one till at Vegas. So IU fans, sorry, you will not get IU and the Colts the same weekend in Vegas. That's week 10, Colts at Raiders, and then week 16, the Chargers here at Lucas Oil. You think it's an advantage Gus Bradley spent the last 5 years in the AFC West?
I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt. I don't know how much of a... the one thing I'll say about the AFC West, I'm just going off... I'm sure someone could look up statistically that this is not accurate, so maybe it's just revisionist history, but it feels like the Chargers, even though they have not, always been able to finish it off and get into the playoffs, but doesn't it feel like the Chargers more often than not, Kevin, this particular installment of the Chargers have been strong season finishers? Like they start slow, but they're usually pretty darn good by November, December, and the Colts get them day after Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's here, so that helps, right? I'm telling you, I just think Herbert's really good.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, totally.
Matthew says, I can't help but be very concerned that our history shows we will go 0-2. Which very much puts the division in jeopardy, and I don't see us making the playoffs without a division win.
Wow.
See, I still think a wild card's possible because I think the AFC West will kind of beat up on each other.
The good news is the Colts could start 0-9, and Marc's parents will list it as a bump in the road. Yeah. Right? Our quarterback's out for the year, the running back has been hurt, and the owner's thinking about selling, etc.
Yeah. Just a minor thing. No big deal.
Etc.
Keep you updated when we can. Oh, nope, cell service. See ya.
Parent text. I mean, how many times did you just look at it and be like, what? Makes no sense.
That was why I was up till like 2 in the morning. I was waiting for updates.
Let me ask you this. 2 things. Number 1, how do you have your parents in your phone?
Mom and dad.
Okay, Kevin?
Same.
Like I asked that one time, and people on Twitter were like, they have their parents in by their first name. I'm like, what? Doesn't everybody put mom, cell, dad?
My dad has like
Colleen.
Me and my 2 brothers in as Marc Dykton. I'm like, so, but like one time, like for whatever reason, it didn't come up as that. It came up as like an unlisted number. So I played a prank and I was pretending like I was somebody else and I was trying to sell him something, and he got completely mad at me. And I was like, "It's your son." He's like, "Oh, I didn't look at the phone number."
This could be
like, how don't you know it's me? I don't get it.
This could be karma for that.
Maybe.
Does your dad? Do your mom or dad? Either one. And let me begin with this. We are very fortunate to have our parents still here. I totally understand it. Do either of your parents sign their texts?
No.
Kevin?
No.
Like my dad will sign it. Dad.
Sincerely.
Well, he doesn't put sincerely, but he'll say like,
Love?
but he'll just
Hugs
say
and
like,
kisses.
hey, heard you talking about the Colts. Who do they play in week 3? Dad.
That's good. It's good to be up front and just be like, all right, this is who I am.
But I'm like, Dad, now for a while there, my parents, I don't know how this happens, but their phones are on like the same account, and they would get them confused. So I would start getting texts, and I'm like, is this for mom or dad? Which one of you is it? Because it says dad, but like this is coming through from my mom's number. Like, what's going on here? It was very confusing.
It was a weird night, that's for sure.
What time did that all happen? Because they're on the West Coast.
So they're on like 3 hours later or earlier, and so this was like 9:30 my time, so 6:30 there. So like, oh yeah, your dad's done with work. We're gonna go see this national park, then we're gonna go get dinner. I'm like, well, I don't think you got dinner last night.
I'm getting texts from people saying that they're sitting front row at a night in the fan cave.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The YouTube chat wants to know if they can be a part of it. I was like, I'll have to bring that up. I don't know.
Boy, we got it. FCC that one probably.
Yeah. Paywall or something probably.
Oftentimes we can get some bots in there.
Yeah, you're not kidding me with the
the bots
webcams.
Gonna show up at the
webcams that show
That'd be
up.
fun.
Click on this link, 18 and over. Oh,
Are they going to be there?
Done. I'm sure they'll pop up.
Okay.
A little risky there. Matt Taylor in 10 minutes. Let's do a morning checkdown.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by QC Kinetics, relieving your joint pain at QCkinetics.com on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I lost my sheet. I didn't sleep last night,
The
and I can't find
GP
anything.
tomorrow. Our coverage begins at 2:00. Jake will be posted up in turn 2 on the oval. You
That is
said
correct.
turn 12 on the road course.
I think it's. I said between 9. So turn 9, I think, is the one. Basically, when they come off of the road course onto the oval, and they sweep around, and then I think it's turn 11 is the right-handed turn, and then they go through the series of the infield to get back onto the turn 1 of the oval. So the south end of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is where I will be calling it. Marc Janes, our chief announcer, Michael Young in turn 1. Nick Yeoman will have the infield area. And, of course, all the coverage can be heard right here on this radio station Saturday beginning at 2:00. Major League Baseball last night, Redlegs break them up. Hottest team in baseball, 4-0 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Connor, don't call me Lara Overton. Got the win, 6.5 innings pitched, gave up just 3 hits. Kevin, I'm telling you, man, you got to be excited about him. Right?
Good friend of mine, Brian Shelborn. My mom leaves me voicemail saying it's mom. Give me a call.
Hi, Jake. It's mom. Yeah, oh, yeah. Indianapolis Indians, by the way, 8-4 losers to the Charlotte Knights yesterday.
Speaking of Charlotte, you see
Frank. What was that? Mark?
That was kind of a.
I got a text message. I got excited for. I was like, parent update. Nope.
You see Frank Vogel interviewed at the Hornets?
Really? Frank Vogel should be coaching somewhere, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
I think he will be, don't you?
So who's the Lakers coach? Is it Doc Rivers?
I saw Stephen A. Smith trying to emphatically imply that Doc Rivers would be out. Okay.
Probably just stop after the I saw Stephen A. Smith part.
Jay Wright.
Whoa, that's juicy. Tonight, Celtics at Bucks, 1.5. Grizz at Warriors. Warriors favored by 8.5. Jake, do the home teams take care of business in those two?
Yeah, I think so. I told you last night I woke up actually, and for whatever reason, the ESPN app was behind from like a week ago, and I pulled it up and it said that Boston had won. It was from a previous game, and I thought I didn't realize they played already, but that seemed plausible to me that Boston went into Milwaukee and won Game 6, forcing it back to Game 7 in Boston. So I will say that was some weird premonition for me, and that Boston pulls the upset road win. I don't think that's going to happen, but
in
if
this
it
series,
does,
though,
I'm going to take credit for it.
That's kind of been the norm in this series.
You're right.
Both these teams.
It's been a great playoffs, right?
Yeah, great playoffs. In this series in particular, I want that one to go 7 games. Jake, Rich Strike, a week from Saturday, will not be in the Preakness. Trainer did not feel like he was ready for the 2-week turnaround. My issue is here. The Kentucky Derby needs to make a rule. If you enter the Derby and you win, you must enter the Preakness. Injury would be the only obligation.
Honestly, if you're the Preakness, I mean, you've got to be upset, right?
Upset? That's a compliment. Irate.
Yeah.
I mean TV ratings, ticket. I mean.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, Epicenter's racing.
Right.
You hate that it comes down to that, Jake, because I guess, you could do a little IndyCar analogy with it, but the importance of milking that winner, and not to make a pun of it, but the importance of just riding that momentum is so huge.
No question about it. Listen.
Kills the casual audience for sure.
No doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, listen, somebody's got to tell Rich Strike, be a champion, man. You know what I mean?
It's like you've been there before.
I saw someone tweet #load management.
That's right. That's right.
Rich Strike.
Yeah, I mean, with the AAU racing in the summer circuits, he has not had a week off.
Rich Strike, the James Harden, he had one good game and then he didn't show up the rest of the time.
Yeah, him and Ben Simmons scoreless in the second half last night. I mean, my wife on next Saturday, I'll be like, oh, let's watch the Preakness. The first thing she'll say is, oh, which one's the Derby horse?
No question.
Gone. Matt Taylor going to join us here in 5 minutes. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
CarX Tire and Auto, 14 Central Indiana locations, one near you to help maintain your summer road readiness from AC, brake pads, tires, and more. It's CarX.com today.
Skip the long lines and high cost at the banks and get pre-approved today for your next home purchase or a refinance at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Having a hard time finding a nice used vehicle? Not at the Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood Tent Sale. Over 200 repos, lease turn-ins, and local trades available starting at $99 a month. Cash cars from $995. Most with a Chomwood lifetime powertrain coverage. Bank reps on site for instant approval. All prices or payments displayed. No negotiating necessary. 4 days only, Wednesday through Saturday at Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood. Home of guaranteed credit. US 31 and stop 18.
Spectrum is America's leading internet provider, delivering ultra-fast gig speeds you need on the high-performance network you want. And Spectrum's advanced home Wi-Fi is security made simple, automatically blocking outside threats, along with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it faster, safer, and more reliably with Spectrum Internet. Get 200 megabits per second for only $49.99 a month. Visit Spectrum.com today for details. Based on internet subscribers among top internet service providers. Restrictions apply.
It's Terry Stacy for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Owner Chris Ambrose says second opinions are important.
We want to make sure that you are confident in the service that you're getting from whoever. The diagnostic that we give you may be different from the one that you got before. What we hope is it'll give you peace of mind that you're getting the right solution for your problem.
Get your free second opinion from B&W by going to BigBlackTrucks.com. Your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Have you tried Moondrops Distillery products yet? Dan Dockage with the new partners in Fortville, Indiana. Bourbon, vodka, and rum. Now the new Bonfire Blends. Friday 13th, 4 to 7. Moondrops' own backyard for the Lemon Shake-Up Moonshine and now special release Peppermint Moonshine launch at Elite Beverages at 308 West Broadway in Fortville. Lemon-flavored moonshine, peppermint moonshine, just in time for warmer weather. Inspired by the magic of shared experience. MoondropsDistillery.com. Moondrops Distillery. Experience something special.
You know, many people my age who went to college, they'll do something great in the future. But I'm doing something great now.
If you like seeing what you accomplish every day, why not make that your career instead of a desk job?
I know a lot of people without any direction. Well, my direction is up while I help build this high-rise.
Your training is free, so you learn while you earn.
My friends finished their degree in 4 years. That's about what it took for us to finish laying down about a dozen new roads.
Careers as a union laborer are rewarding and ready now. As a member of Laborers Local 120, you'll earn good pay and benefits with lots of job choices.
I do pipeline work.
I'm a concrete finisher.
I lay miles and miles of asphalt.
This is Ward Daniels, Business Manager of Laborers Local 120. Joining us can lead to a satisfying career for you or someone you know.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
We are now accepting qualified apprentices and journeymen. Visit labors120.com to apply.
The Ride with JMV.
Rick, my bad on your wait. Go ahead. Thanks for the call. Hello, Rick.
I think he's snoring. I think he might be sleeping.
Race Trash, anything goes. 239-1070. Rick, are you awake?
Hello.
Hey, Rick, are you awake?
I am.
All right. You haven't been, have you?
No, I can doze off there in a minute.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 till 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Colts schedule is out. Single game tickets will go on sale at 11 a.m. today. At Houston, at Jacksonville to start the year. The home opener, the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like the Colts have had a lot of good home openers. Last year, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, they dropped that one, right?
It's weird, Jake. 2 road games to start this year, 2 home games to start last year. This year's schedule to start, so much easier in my eyes than last year.
But, one thing we didn't really emphasize.
Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford versus Davis Mills and your guy, Trevor.
Which games at home are primetime matchups?
Chargers, December 26th, Monday Nighter, and the Steelers, a Monday Nighter, November 28th.
Now,
is that the Thanksgiving? Yeah, that's a Thanksgiving.
Has Monday Night Football now moved back into a side-by-side with Sunday Night Football as the marquee national game of the week? Or is it still kind of Sunday have that feel?
Yeah, probably Sunday has a little bit of an edge to it, but
I feel like on paper the Monday night slate was better than usual. Maybe that's the
was it? I didn't
thing.
take a close look at it, but
seemed like there wasn't too many repeats. There's a lot of.
Are you saying Buck and Aikman carry more clout than
I think so?
Levy, Greasy, and Rick?
No Jets appearances that I can recall, so that was nice to see.
Man, it was locked into it last night. The voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, joins us here. Mate, the first thing that jumped out at you schedule-wise was what?
Oh, man, it's got to be those early AFC South games. You play 3 of your first 4 games inside the division. You play all 3 teams in the division in the first month. It's crazy. I mean, urgency is going to be at an all-time high. I mean, I think it always is the start of season, especially when you notoriously, as a franchise, even predating the regime that's here right now, have gotten off to slow starts. But 5 of your first 7 inside the AFC South, 5 of your first 6 division games are going to unfold before Halloween. So, I mean, you're going to have a really good idea kind of where you're sitting and kind of the road that you're on to winning the AFC South for the first time since 2014 and making the playoffs. And, we say this every year, but, man, it's so true, especially inside this conference in the AFC. I mean, the easiest way to make the playoffs is win your division. Well, the Colts can do that and take care of serious business before Halloween, before the calendar hits November, by just putting their best foot forward inside the AFC South. And, I know that, the back half of the schedule is, the last 4 games, it's manageable, and those AFC West games are spread out. But you've got to come ready to play, and it starts, honestly, like, not to sound cliche, but, like, it starts now with, staying healthy and getting your body in tip-top shape in the offseason and just avoiding those huge injuries that the Colts haven't been able to sustain or withstand, I should say. Like in the month of August last year, which is crazy. Carson Wentz goes down, and Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith, T.Y. Hilton had the neck. And, not that was an excuse, but, like, it just made it really hard to navigate the first month of the season. First 5 games, really, when we started 1-4, and you didn't have a lot of time on task last year with the injuries. If the Colts can get off to a good start this year, stay healthy, and win some winnable games, at least on paper, man, that helps. That really helps them for the back half of the season when you're not playing those division games. I just think at the start of the season, those games mean so much. They count as 2, they count as double. You can really distance yourself from the field in your division if you play well those first 2 months of the year.
Matt, I'm curious if your perspective on this. Matt Taylor's our guest, the radio voice of the Colts. I have always felt like sometimes, and I'm not saying it happens every game, but I've been around teams or covered teams where I felt like they needed to get an away game and get on the road to just kind of get away from the noise, and that it creates like a camaraderie with the team sometimes, that guys really kind of bond when it's just them on the plane and in the locker room and in the hotel, theoretically. For that reason, I kind of like starting on the road for 2 games because I think it allows for that bond period for guys to come together. Have you witnessed anything like that in your time being around the team?
Yeah, I witnessed it. Not that I played in the NFL, but I've been part of, that mindset of like, hey, we're going on the road. It's a business trip. We're going to get on the bus. I think there's more focus when it's just kind of like you and the road, if you will, and, opening up the playbook, putting on your headphones, just kind of focusing on the task at hand. Not that you don't do that when you play at home, but there's more distractions, like to put the college metaphor that I had, like it's easy to kind of like just sit in your room and, your friends are in and out, whether you're living in a house or a dorm. And it's more of a focused time with the task at hand, I think, when you're on the road on the team plane or the team bus or the team hotel room. So I think there is something to that. But I will say, not to overplay that. I mean, this is the National Football League. So, right, I mean, no matter where you're playing, it's going to be hard for these guys to escape the narrative and the storyline for the Colts that they haven't won, on opening day or week 1 since 2013, 8 straight losses, right? You haven't won on the road to start a season since 2006. And most of these guys, in fact, all of them haven't been here that entire time. But the problem is that it's going to be talked about. It's going to be written about. There's going to be podcasts and radio shows and TV shows reminding them of this history. So I think no matter where these games are, it's going to be hard to avoid that. But getting on the road, sort of you versus everybody else, that mentality, I think could play into their favor. It's interesting. The Colts are going to play on the road weeks 1 and 2 for only the 5th time since moving to Indy. And we looked this up the other day. The Colts have, again, on paper, a good chance to start the season well, get two wins right out of the gate on the road. The Colts haven't started a season 2-0 with back-to-back wins on the road since 1977. Obviously, it's never happened since they moved to Indianapolis, but obviously it would be very unique to start the season well on the road, then come back at home. Those 2 really big, the home opener against Kansas City, then Tennessee, kind of start that gauntlet of really good team inside your division, but a really good team in the AFC West and in the AFC to kind of, measure yourself up against those barometer games to see where you stack up against, 2 of the high-classier teams in the AFC and the AFC South the last 4 or 5 years.
Gosh, that would just totally change the vibe of how we usually talk about this team near the end of September. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, is with us. Mate, let me throw one at you. The leading tackler for the Colts the last time they won a season opener was who?
Oh, my gosh. In the game?
In the game, Colts beat the Raiders. Terrell Pryor-led Raiders. The leading tackler for the Colts that afternoon?
I'll say Jarrell Freeman.
With 15 tackles, one and only LaRon Landry.
Really?
Wow.
Jarrell had 10. Antoine Bethea with 11.
15 tackles, 16 selfies.
Well, yeah, post-game. Actually, maybe during the game.
That's right.
LaRon, you never know that.
Well, that might have been like one of the 3 games he was healthy that.
Yeah, that's probably accurate as well. Did I hear you correctly last night? The first time since 2005, 2 home Monday night games?
Correct. Yeah, first time the Colts will host multiple Monday night games since 2005. And the Colts haven't played a Monday night game at home since 2015. And I know you're going to have to wait for them, right? You got Pittsburgh the weekend after Thanksgiving, and then the day after Christmas for the Chargers. But that's still pretty cool.
But you can't be flexed out of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that, going into the schedule based on last year and sort of the turnover that the Colts had this offseason with the coaching staff and the roster, I thought 3-1 at home. So to get 4-2 at home, that's really surprising to me in a good way, considering the battle this franchise has had getting home primetime games and getting the respect that seemingly every other team in the NFL had deserved.
Any idea why they front-loaded the Colts with these Titans games now each of the last 2 years? Like, I get it. AFC South schedule priority probably isn't high atop the scheduling priority list for the NFL, but it just seems like, if anything, instead of the Colts finishing the season with Jacksonville last year, Houston this year, you would want Colts Titans at least to have one game in November, December, or even January.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like last year where the Colts were done playing the Titans by the end of October.
Yeah, Halloween.
And those games just meant so much. I mean, the NFL won't tell you that because it's one of 17. But we all, as fans going into that season last year, knew that these Colts Titans games, they were going to be like de facto AFC South championship games, especially the one at Lucas Oil Stadium on Halloween. And, yeah, it's interesting because the last 4 or 5 years, probably going back farther than that, actually, the NFL seemingly has prioritized, let's get these division games later in the season. Let's get them in the months of, the back half of November and December so that, teams aren't going to rest. Let's try to prop up the schedule to the point where we can sort of infuse meaningful games late in the year with division games. And I know the Colts are playing the Texans the last game of the season, but to only have one AFC South game in your last 10 games of the year, that to me is a little bit of a head scratcher. And I know the NFL they've got a lot of balls they got to juggle. And, a guy like Mike North from the league that's high up in the broadcasting world, he's going to actually talk today, have a press conference, and we hope to have him on next week to sort of talk about schedule inequities and all the things they have to battle there. I think the goal of the league is to, if they're doing the schedule right, their goal is to make every team equally disappointed about something with their schedule. If that happens, in their mind, I think they got it right. But they've got to battle, stadium venues, having concerts. So we got to be, we have to be on the road that week, but we can't have, 3 road games in a row. Just all of these things that they have to contend with. So I think inevitably stuff like that plays into it. But yeah, it's just the late bye week, I think, is another struggle. Right, week 14 without having a serious, considerable time off, 4.5 months without, hitting that bye, I think is going to be tough. And just the AFC South nature being front loaded in the schedule, I think is really weird. But like I said, urgency is going to have to be there those first 8 games of the season, and the Colts will kind of be in the catbird seat inside the AFC South if it all goes well in the months of September and October.
Okay, so Matt, here's the thing. I'm going to take the Raiders off the board because that would be the obvious answer here. The away game that you're most anticipating, and I'm not talking about from a football standpoint, but just because it's a great stadium, it's a cool city, the fans are fun, they have good restaurants, etc. If you had to tell one place for people to go that to fully enjoy the Matt Taylor experience, it would be which one?
Well, that's scary.
New Year's Eve, baby, in New York.
That's what I said. I mean, last night we were kind of joking about that, but like, when the heck am I ever going to be in Times Square in New York City on New Year's Eve? I mean, I think that's got to be a bucket list thing. I mean,
I agree, Matt. We were talking about this earlier. I totally agree with what you're saying, and I absolutely applaud the, hey, if I'm this close, I got to do it type mindset. I mean, that kind of is how I live also, but I've never met anybody that's done that has ever said anything other than, yeah, I guess I'm glad I did it, but I will never do it again. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh. Well, now you're in my head, Jake.
Well, here's the thing, Matt.
We're worried about your bladder, man.
You've been to New York, right, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, so you know Times Square. I mean, everybody knows the size of Times Square, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's full energy and lights, and I mean, it's great. It's the epicenter of American culture. But there are, 75,000 other people, or if you asked Roger Goodell, 2.5 million, that are standing there doing the same thing, and everywhere has signs that says no public restrooms. So, you got to get creative.
Yeah. Oh man. See, I didn't even think about that.
And you're there for like you don't walk down at 11:30. You know what I mean?
Can we get some portable troughs maybe on the side? IMS can maybe send
some gutters, man.
There. That covers one problem.
Well, Mark, I have seen some people go the other way into those troughs.
Well, thank you.
Later in the month of May.
That went a direction I wasn't expecting.
Tickets for the fan cave. Don't forget to get them.
So, Matt, are you going with New York? I would say, honestly, well, you tell me. So is New York your answer?
Well, I mean, I'm glad I'm talking to you guys because the schedule came out last night. So obviously, I haven't thought this through here when it comes to wearing a Depends in Times Square.
That's right.
On New Year's Eve. Kevin can attest to this. At Houston, I know it's a division game; it's every year, but Houston is a very deceptive, good environment. They have a really good home field advantage. I think they obviously always get loud, and it's a great atmosphere because the Colts are there.
Matt, my experience,
what that represents to them, right?
I think the people down there are nice, man. I mean, honestly, like at the times that I covered Colts-Texans game in Houston, I found the fans to be passionate about the Houston Texans, but not obnoxious to the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
So that one's.
Mate, sorry to interrupt. I'd rank the two rowdiest road environments on here: Denver and Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota last year, we played them in the preseason. It was so bizarre. It was a Saturday night game, and I kind of chalk it up to the fact that it was the first preseason game, first preseason home game for them, and it was the first time they had opened up the stadium to fans post-COVID. So, like, it was a good atmosphere. Everybody was just excited to be back and see football in person. The Skull chant, but I mean, like, they were doing the wave and throwing programs, and the PA system was just off the charts loud. I mean, like, I felt like I was at a rodeo. I mean, it was crazy last year, crazy good. So Minnesota's good. The one that I think for me in terms of just everything experience-wise, I think it's New England because selfishly the radio booth is really, really good. It's wide, it's long, you've got room to kind of spread out, like you feel like you have your own little designated area. The fans are right there, and they're talking trash to you, and they're throwing things at you when the Patriots score. It's a good booth in terms of the view. You can see the entire field well. The Colts haven't won there since 2006, and then I think after last year, the Colts beat them. It was a contested game. Tempers were flaring a little bit. I think the rivalry is squarely back on. So for the Colts to go back there and, to have that atmosphere and those fans, spewing venom at the Colts again, I think it's going to be a fun game, a good atmosphere. It's a good stadium. And again, selfishly, the sight lines are good and it's a good booth. So I'm excited for that one. Plus it comes at a good time of year, early November. Weather's going to be cool. It's going to be crisp. It's just going to be football, straight football, the quintessential, Colts-Patriots matchup.
Do you guys have any concern that Patriots 1 week, next week, all the way to Vegas, cross-country?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, I see what you're saying. I think, going back to Indianapolis and then sort of recharging a little bit that week in between Patriots-Vegas, I think that Vegas trip is just so unique because now you're going to have fans in there. I mean, the Colts played them in 2020 and it was an empty stadium. So with fans and the energy of that place, and then with the Vegas Strip in the background.
I mean, that's the thing, Matt. Like, there's going to be, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but there is going to be a team at some point where, and I'm not saying it's the Colts, but somebody is going to have an issue where, like, all of a sudden it's going to be like, hey, such and such player got arrested last night in Las Vegas or was skipped curfew is probably a bigger thing. You know what I mean? Just like, there's a lot of temptation there, man. Like if you're in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I've got a hunch that the Colts the night before will be staying like in Carson City.
Right. Honestly, and there are probably a lot of teams that do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Reno or somewhere like Salt Lake City or something like that. But yeah, it's we were joking last night. We did a podcast when the schedule came out. We were joking, like with the schedule's been out like 15 minutes. How many people are Googling trying to find air flights and hotel in Vegas for November 11th,
no
12th,
doubt.
13th, and 14th,
Or
right?
that New Year's Eve hotel as well. You got to get on that ASAP if you do want to do that, New York City-wise. Mate, I know we're
They also got on Amazon and got some pins on Prime.
That's right.
I'm gonna make
They'll be
sure
here tomorrow.
I'm gonna make sure I send one over to West 56th Street for you. Two quick ones before we let you go, and again, appreciate your time. Any word on joint practices? I saw at Buffalo and home to Detroit. At Buffalo would be quite the trip, but any word on that?
No, I haven't heard anything on that. I mean, the Detroit one obviously would be easy. I hate to say the word easy, but it would be, doable in terms of logistics because you got a team coming from the state just north, and Graham Park obviously can pull that off. It's a home game for the Colts. Not sure about Tampa Bay.
That seems too late in the preseason.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, it's just one of those things where you play that game and then you immediately start focusing on roster cuts and positioning yourself for the regular season. So I think really good preseason game times. Actually, a 4:00 game, a 1:00 game, and a 7:30 game to close out. So two home preseason games, which was the opposite of last year. So I think the schedule's it's pretty nice in terms of just overall convenience for fans. I know they love the primetime games, but I know there's a section of the fan base that doesn't love staying up late, so you only have to do it 4 times this upcoming season.
And then the last one, this is a little bit of a homework assignment. I know you love looking up these stats. The last time a rookie started at left tackle in the NFL that wasn't a first-round pick. I'm curious, if Bernhard Raimann indeed takes that starting job, the last time you had maybe a third-rounder, the last time you had a third-rounder or later start at left tackle. I started to look that up the other day, and it took me some time.
Yeah, that's going to make my head spin there a little bit. I have no idea that. I don't even know where to start with that, to be honest with you.
So what you're saying
you've got
is,
passwords and logins that I don't have. So
if Bernhard Raimann is there, you're wondering if he would match prior history. Because I think that's the name of the guy that's going to start at left tackle in week 1.
Look at that.
Right?
Look at that. And
this
then
is why Jake wakes up every morning.
Next segment, we'll have a Steve Bartman, Mark Pryor reference, Matt. It'll be beautiful, radio.
Matt, that's why Jake doesn't sleep every night. You got that actually halfway correct.
All right, yeah. You came up with that last night at 3:30 watching Goodfellas or something.
Yeah.
Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor. I know it's a busy month. You'll be a little bit of a fan later this month, as will I. Can't wait for that. Mate, appreciate it, and I'll see you out there later today.
All right, guys. Be well. I appreciate you.
Matt Taylor right there on the Payless Liquors hotline. We are over break.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashes the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM rewards points that you can redeem for online bonus credits like free bets and risk-free tokens. Planning a trip to Vegas? You can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM rewards points that you can use towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM Resorts properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM or log on today to get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
Are you looking to stay cool this summer and have fun with your family and friends? Call Royal Pin Entertainment at 465-8484 to join a summer league today. Summer leagues are fun and affordable and last only a short time. If you're going to bowl this summer, bowl at a Royal Pin Entertainment Center. Call 465-8484 or go to royalpin.com to join a league today. Grab your friends and stop in your favorite Royal Pin Entertainment Center for open play. Reserve your lanes by the hour at royalpin.com. Come bowling this summer and have the time of your life. Call 465-8484 or go to royalpin.com.
Royal Pin. Bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
Start a new career with a job that keeps your community safe. The Marion County Sheriff, Carrie Forrestal, is hiring detention deputies to work in the brand new Community Justice Center. You'll supervise and guard offenders, making Marion County a better place to live. Starting pay begins at around $40,000 a year with a $5,000 signing bonus. Enjoy great benefits like complete health coverage and pension plan. Start your career as a detention deputy and earn the respect of your community. Apply today at joinmcso.indy.gov.
Your neighbor Mark loves spring in Indy, but he hates to paint. So he called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Having a hard time finding a nice used vehicle? Not at the Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood Tent Sale. Over 200 repos, lease turn-ins, and local trades available starting at $99 a month. Cash cars from $995. Most with a Chomwood lifetime powertrain coverage. Bank reps on site for instant approval. All prices or payments displayed. No negotiating necessary. 4 days only, Wednesday through Saturday at Chomwood Used Cars of Greenwood. Home of guaranteed credit. US 31 and stop 18.
Hey, it's Jake Query. Wendy's has one kind of breakfast, a better one. Start your day with a Wendy's sausage, gravy, and biscuit. We're talking savory grilled breakfast sausage and a creamy Southern-style black pepper gravy served on top of a warm, freshly baked buttermilk biscuit. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's.
It's Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I think Minnesota would be the fun trip to make, Kevin.
Ooh, that late in the year?
Yeah, why not? I mean, you could walk everywhere in tunnels there. You can go to Mall of America and hang out at one of their 17 Hot Sams. It'd be kind of cool.
I do love Minneapolis.
It's a great city.
I am a bigger Dallas fan than
Dallas is
most.
a great city. Mark, you'd go hang out at Buc-ee's, right?
Of course.
Jason sent me some pictures of Buc-ee's yesterday. I got to show you guys those.
It's impressive, isn't it?
He's like, I have stood in the same spot and it just turned like 90 degrees for each picture. It just, does it ever end?
It's like, honestly, I mean, it is Disney World and Walmart had a one-night stand, and a year later, Buc-ee's was there. Mark, aren't you taking a vacation just to Buc-ee's?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's one. Yeah, Florence, Kentucky's where it opened up, so it's a little south of Lexington. But yeah, we're going to Red Gorge, so we're gonna make a pit stop at the brand new Buc-ee's.
Your parents weren't at a Buc-ee's, were they?
No, they're coming supposedly to it, but who knows? My dad's like, let me know when I can call you. So that sounds great. So we'll see what happens there.
Has he gotten into a room with your mother in the hospital?
I don't know. He said, let me know when I can call you.
It's pretty early
okay,
out there.
That doesn't sound, foreshadowing at all. Concerning.
Yeah. Did you write back and say, what's it about?
No. I said, I'll call you in a minute.
Mark's folks, by the way, last night, if you weren't listening earlier, texted him last night to say they were in a fender bender in Oregon where the other car in the fender bender was airlifted and his parents are both hospitalized. But they're okay, right?
According to their text messages, which were very nondescript. Yeah.
Okay.
I could talk myself really into all these road venues.
I would agree with that. I mean,
Jacksonville, September 18th is going to be hot as hell. That's my birthday, by the way.
New England?
Yeah, probably not. New England, the key to me is stay in Providence. They've got a great little Italian area. They're downtown. Do that.
Dallas. Listen, Vegas goes without saying. Dallas is neat. Dallas is a neat city. It's a neat area. Weather's great. A lot of good food.
Talk a little bit more Colts schedule. Colts rookie minicamp also begins today. I'll be over at West 56th Street for that here in a few hours. And Jake's got a busy weekend over at the track. We'll do that in the 9 o'clock hour here. Kevin and Query, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
The Sundown Gardens Spring Open House is next Saturday, May 21st. Live music, door prizes, and sign up to win a maple tree. Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road.
Jake Query here. Recently I returned to college to finish my degree, and I encourage you to join me. Whether you're like me and life simply got in the way, or you never went to college at all, Indiana offers financial assistance for those ready to move forward. If I can do it, I know you can too. If you're looking for a better job or doing it for your family, Indiana has grants to pay for over 150 certificates in high-wage industries. You're sure to find a tuition-free option that fits you. To apply, visit nextleveljobs.org today. Sponsored by the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. That's nextleveljobs.org.
Payless Liquors is all ready for the warm weather and your outdoor activities with plenty of options under $20. Southern Comfort variety packs are only $4.69. Mom Water 4-packs, $8.99. You can pick up Crown Royal cocktails for only $12.99. St. Elmo's canned cocktails, $14.99. And 18 packs of the 16-ounce cans from Coors Light and Bud Light are only $19.99. Payless has 26 family-owned locations, including 30th and Georgetown, Rockville Road, and Lafayette Road to take care of you race fans. Don't pay more, get more, and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com. Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, non-transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Kevin Reinhardt says this family-owned business has a lot of pride in their work.
Danny started the business back in 1986 here in Danville, and we take a lot of pride in the town of Danville with a lot of repeat customers, people that I've known basically all my life. And it's just nice to continue to do the service that they trust for over 30 years.
You can trust Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, 317-745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Hey, Jimmy has the controls today. Jake Query from the morning show is going to join, talk all that racing. You know it's going to be a better show. Hammer's going to join as well. Join Jimmy today, noon to 3.
You're listening to Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
9 o'clock hour, final hour of the week. But, Jake, I'm guessing that there will be no nap in your future today, correct?
Man, you're not kidding. Maybe a little bit before going out to the Speedway, qualifying practice both for Indy Lights and IndyCar for the GMR Grand Prix on the road course at the Speedway. Then tonight, 8 o'clock, World of Beers on Mass Ave. Will be there from 8 to 9 o'clock with Miller Lite.
It's a good sporting venue place.
It's a great place. And Miller Lite, come out and have a cold Miller Lite, and we'll have tickets for you for the Speedway. So be great to see everybody to come out. That's going to be from 8 until 9 o'clock tonight. Then the race again tomorrow. You can hear it 2 o'clock right here on the station.
Crossing our fingers, the rain holds off tomorrow afternoon. But you have mentioned this before. They can race in some drizzle.
Correct. What they do is Firestone there are 3 sets of tires. I will not get too far down a rabbit hole here and bore everyone with the intricacies of racing tires, but one of the sets of tires that you have are treaded, what they call wet tires, obviously, which are made to run in the rain. The series itself will declare before the race begins if there's been precipitation, whether or not it is a wet race. And if it's a wet race, that means that everybody starts on the wet tires. Then the strategy becomes when exactly you feel confident enough that enough water has come up that you can run on what we call the slick tires, which would have, you need maximum grip on those. So you always get somebody that decides to go a little early. I think last year or 2 years ago, it was wet. And I think Marco Andretti was like the first one to go out and go ahead and put it on slick tires. And it looked like it was going to pay off for him because eventually everybody knows then they got to come in, right, and make a pit stop. And now he's already made his stop. But if I'm not mistaken, the grip, he went a little early and it was still, he had to kind of tiptoe a little bit and it hurt him. But that's one of the strategies that comes into play for certain.
That's an interesting one.
It is. Now, if there is too much standing water, they will delay it and try to get the track dry. But if the track is simply damp, they can run on it.
You know, I've enjoyed the GP. I must say, Jake, I feel a sense of kind of extra happiness when that checkered flag comes, knowing that we are now really into the all oval for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're not alone there. You are not. It is always admittedly strange to me to go out this weekend because, you know, you hear the cars and everything, and then you go out there and you're like, oh, I forgot, it's the road course. It's cool. It's a good way to start the month. I understand why they did it in particular because, you know, it pumps a little life into it as opposed to just a regular practice session. But they will run, for those that are curious, the road course today, road course Saturday. This is a fabulous family-type weekend, too, because they have viewing mounds for family during the road course. Then Sunday, Monday, no track activity. Practice for the Indianapolis 500 begins on Tuesday on the oval. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fast Friday, qualifying Saturday, Sunday, and then final practice Monday before Carb Day the week after that.
We'll be there live for Carb Day 2 weeks from today. Boy, I am laughing pretty hard inside at this. Did you see the Jacksonville Jaguars Twitter account tweet to Washington about their week 1 matchup?
No.
It'll be the
Does it have Jackson DeVille because he's very underrated?
The mascot?
Yes.
Nothing to do with him. Commanders Jags week 1 in Jacksonville. The Commanders tweet, or excuse me, it's in Washington. Week 1 at FedEx Field. See you all there. Fire emoji. The Jags Twitter account retweets it with the quote tweet, "Tell Carson we say hi." Smile emoji.
Wow. That's solid.
How good is that? I love sense of humor social media team accounts.
Oh, that yesterday was like their Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you saw the Chargers one with the anime stuff, that was fantastic. The Detroit Lions using the Detroit Urban Police guy, that was great too.
The Chargers one was so good.
Oh, the shots at Urban Meyer and Kyler Murray alone were beautiful.
You know, the hockey was really the first to do that. The NHL, if I'm not mistaken, was really the first league to hire like young people out of college
Show some
to be
personality
sarcastic,
with that, right?
correct, with their Twitter account. And then I remember I think it was the Atlanta Hawks was kind of the first NBA team to do it because I remember there was a game where, and every team has this every once in a while, just some anomaly game where they were down like 52 points entering the fourth quarter, and the Hawks like sent a tweet that was with the score, you know, Washington 102, Atlanta 50, end of third. And it said like, you know, all right, guys, now we got them right where we want them. Like, now's when we get hot or something like that. And, you know, people were like, what in the world? Because that was kind of unheard of at that time.
I just appreciate just being a human being.
Yeah, totally.
You know? And really, not to go down like this
sports are
rabbit hole,
fun, right?
That and like, I think it's a really important piece in connecting to the next generation of fans. Jake, 15-year-old Jake Query right now, or I guess 15-year-old anybody, they know
49-year-old Jake Query.
They know the Chargers as having a very funny Twitter account. Like that's kind of their brand on social media. That might not resonate with everyone, but if you're trying to attract kind of that next generation of fans, Justin Herbert, of course, really helps. But a great sense of humor there, doing funny stuff on social. People are going to like that. And,
yeah.
You know, think about that age. You are looking for kind of weird things to cheer for a team.
15-year-old Kevin Bowen, your favorite teams were who? Each of the three sports.
Gosh, I've always been pretty steadfast. Notre Dame basketball, football, certainly the local teams. So 15-year-old me would have been, what, 2000?
Reds?
Yeah, Reds.
So Reds, Colts.
Pacers certainly.
Marc? 15-year-old Marc.
Bears, Cubs, Bulls. Blackhawks. Yeah.
I'm trying to think like who the outlier team was kind of growing up for me.
Did you have a starter jacket of a random NFL team that you took a liking to?
We had a green one. Was it a Hornets one? Probably Hornets because my brother was a diehard Alonzo Mourning fan.
Okay.
So I think that's where
I was a kid when you guys had starter jackets.
Yeah.
I was a kid when Sears had the NFL jackets that you could buy. There were two. You could buy the sideline parkas, or you could buy. They had like the faux fur on the inside.
Do that again.
Faux fur, is that how you say it? The fake fur. The other one was they looked like Letterman jackets that had the NFL, the team patch, but they only sold Bears, Bengals, in this market at least, Packers, Steelers, and Redskins. Washington, sorry, at that time. I actually had a Washington one that was a hand-me-down. But I had, do you guys know, we'll play Get to Know Your Co-Host here, not that anybody cares, but do you know what NFL team I was a diehard fan of in my childhood? Every picture of me is in the Sears pajamas. I have the trash can. I had the hat. I had the gloves, everything of this team.
Raiders. 49ers.
Two excellent guesses. National brand, I was born in 1972. There were two teams we had no team here, keep in mind.
Steelers.
Yeah,
correct.
that would have been my guess.
My dad was in the steel business, and the Steelers and the Cowboys were the two national teams that were on. So I was a diehard. I still have a Steelers lamp, Steelers trash can, everything Steelers. But anyway, then Pacers, obviously, and Reds.
That Monday night game, Matt Ryan will have to go silent count. Steelers in the building.
You think there'll be a lot of Steelers
Terrible
fans here?
towels on Monday Night Football?
It's a 5.5-hour drive, right?
Sounds right.
I think Steelers and Eagles are going to be the two biggest fan bases, and you got them back-to-back weeks.
Kansas City's going to travel well,
yeah, that's
and
true.
you're going to get the Mahomes factor.
Eagles, boy, be careful. There's going to be some rowdy folks.
Eagles fans. I remember doing a pregame show. When did the Eagles and Colts play on a Monday night game? What was like
2015, 2014,
somewhere there.
something like that.
And there were a bunch of Eagles fans in the bar where we were doing it, and they have like a song they do, or
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I think that's what it was. And I'm like, listen, with fans like that, you got to embrace them. They are the opposite of wild geese. If you ignore them, they just keep coming. But if you acknowledge them, they're like, oh, man, and then they let you alone. And so we had one of them on the air, and they were cool. They were just there to have a good time, and they were pretty cool, actually. But they were loud, man.
Hardest 3-game stretch on the schedule is where?
Okay, the hardest 3-game stretch to me would be, honestly, probably, boy, that's tough because you get kind of a reprieve.
Is it 3, 4, 5?
That's where I'm looking.
Yeah,
Chiefs,
I think it is.
Titans,
I think it is.
At Broncos.
Because although you get two of those at home, though.
And at Broncos is, again, a short week altitude.
Honestly, it may be 7, 8, 9.
That's where I'm looking, too. I'm saying 7, 8, 9, 10.
7, 8, 9 is
11. 7, 8, 9? I don't know
at
about
Tennessee, and then Washington at home, you feel pretty good about, but at New England is not easy. Especially, and then how about this?
See,
how about 9, 10, 11?
That's I was looking 9, 10, 11.
At New England, at Raiders, back-to-back, and then Philly at home.
That's where I was looking. I also looked here. Dallas, at Minnesota, home to the Chargers.
Okay, how about this one for you?
You have a bye week in there at least.
Are the Vikings good?
No. They're always just there. They're always around. But they're not.
Talent,
they don't do anything, though. Yeah, but they have Kirk Cousins.
How about
so
this
they're
one
always
for you?
there, but they don't do anything.
How about this one for you, Kevin? Let's say after October 2nd. So your first 4 games at Houston, at Jacksonville, and then Kansas City at home and Tennessee at home. After that, of the teams that you play for Indianapolis, which are Denver, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Washington, New England, Las Vegas, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Minnesota, Chargers, and Giants. Of those, which team, not barring injury, which team is most likely to have a different quarterback starting for them than started for them in week 1?
Money's got to be on the Steelers, right?
I was going to say Giants or Texans. I think you just give Kenny Pickett the ball week 1.
You think so? Okay. Philly?
They got the playoffs last year with Hurts. I don't. I feel like we just always think that Philly's kind of in quarterback question. I don't.
Didn't Philly draft a quarterback?
Well, don't they have Minshew?
Yeah, Minshew's not bad.
I don't think they drafted one.
I think they did. Didn't they?
Really? That early? Sam Howell. Washington drafted Sam Howell. Do you see Sam Howell's never eaten steak or burgers or...
What a weirdo.
That's like Todd Marinovich.
I take everything away good I said about Sam Howell. You just can't trust him. You can't trust him.
Why?
You never eat a steak. He goes to a steakhouse and gets chicken.
Is he a vegetarian? So he's not a vegetarian?
No.
Just doesn't like red meat?
So his parents never gave him like steak for dinner when he was young?
That's
like, nah, just give me the chicken nuggets. I'll take those.
You imagine like the kids menu and say no to the burger?
Yeah. I don't get it.
Has he never had it?
Never. That's what he says.
Well, you remember Todd Marinovich was the one that had never had a Big Mac, and his dad was like, put ads out like, I'm looking for a woman to perfectly breed for an NFL quarterback, and had him out working every day in the yard throwing. And
Is that legal?
And then he ended up the quarterback of USC, and he gets drafted and then gets in the NFL, and he 1 week he's eating Big Macs and the next week he's shooting up and then he's out of the league. That's how that always happens.
Jake just announced
Sam Howell is going to be found unconscious in a Ruth Chris parking lot in like 6 weeks.
The Colts, all 4 of their day 3 picks have signed their contracts. Rookie minicamp starting today for the Colts. They just announced their undrafted free agent list. An interesting name to me, an interesting name to you. Very interesting to you.
Give me the info one more time.
22 undrafted free agents for the Colts. I think a lot of people believe that multiple undrafted free agents will make the Week 1 roster.
Okay.
We'll see how that plays out. The interesting name to me is Jack Cohn.
Okay.
Given my allegiance to Notre Dame. Yeah, nice 4th quarterback. Whatever. The name to you would be whom?
See, I'm not sure. Clemson did not have many guys drafted, right? They had a really down draft year, if you want to go that route. Justin Ross signed with Kansas City, who would have been one that I realized there were health questions there. So I would have. Is it a DB?
Prominent Clemson player.
Is it a defensive back? I should be like.
It is a defender. This guy scared me.
Scared you?
Scared me.
Go ahead and hit me.
James Skalski.
Oh yeah, he was a great player. He here's the thing. He like is your quintessential football player, right?
And like built for the 1980s, right?
Totally.
He did the collar, didn't he? Didn't
he
have
did.
the little
He
Brian
did.
Cox?
He's the one. Look, he got booted in the playoffs for a targeting foul. He had some undisciplined plays for certain, but he was, and a lot of people don't realize I can't remember if he was out due to injury or he was ejected in the Ohio State game where they got blown out of the building. But he was absolutely he's like Gary Brackett. He was the quarterback of their defense for certain. Does he make the team? Probably not, but he was a very good college player.
Kind of a heart and soul type.
Totally.
Colts also bringing in a wide receiver that maybe could catch on with the team. Says Ian Rappaport, former Browns wide receiver Antonio Callaway will be brought into Colts minicamp on a tryout basis. The 2018 4th-round pick recently spent time with the Dolphins and Chiefs. So there might be some added depth coming to the Colts wide receiver group.
He was kind of a big name coming out of Florida. Some off-the-field issues there. And Jake, I know you asked me this a few weeks ago. I guess I'll go back there with it now. Rookie minicamp again the next 3 days for the Colts. They'll practice. You have the 22 undrafted free agents. You've got your 7 draft picks, so that's 29. You're probably going to have another 20 tryout guys. Callaway being one of these guys. It really helps you just formulate an actual practice. You obviously need more than 29 bodies to have an effective practice. So once the rookie minicamp concludes on Sunday, we'll see if any of these tryout guys make the team. You would then cut an undrafted free agent or 2 to make room for them. But 22 undrafted free agents. I think a lot of people look at the running back group. There's 3 of them. Offensive tackle as well. You would think maybe a depth piece there.
Listen, the Colts have been, what did we talk about, Kevin? A couple of weeks ago, they had like one of the longest streaks in the league, might have even been the longest streak in the league of years with an undrafted free agent starting for him in week 1, right?
It's like 20-some years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that the possibility is always there. I mean, one of those guys whose name, we see on a list today could absolutely end up on the roster.
John and Carlos both going here. How do you like Jack Cohn's chances to beat out Sam Ehlinger?
I think they really like Ehlinger, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Yeah, I think they're really similar in a way. I would say Ehlinger is much better with his legs. Cohn probably a tad more accurate, but I think from their mental makeup, both very smart. I'd say Ehlinger a little bit more of a come on, follow me leader, whereas Cohn necessarily doesn't have that as publicly as Ehlinger. But yeah, I'm not going to go there. I mean, undrafted free agent being your backup quarterback as a rookie.
Cohn does have some intriguing athleticism, though, does he not?
Maybe like a Matt Ryan sneaky athlete if you sleep on him, but not like... I mean, Ehlinger can move.
I would think if you sleep on him, he'd be fairly numb in the morning, and the mobility would be a challenge, right? Be uncomfortable. It'd be like, Mark, that'd be like saying you were in a fender bender and the other guy's airlifted, right? I mean, that's a...
Boy, I've got calls to make after the
40
show
more
today.
minutes, Kevin. 40 more minutes, Kevin. 40.
Well,
2 days off. 2 days off. 40
The
more
2
minutes.
days off must be nice.
He's Jake Query. I'm Kevin Bowen. Marc Dykton across the way. The night in the fan cave. That'll be June 22nd. We announced that earlier. More details up on our website. It's going to be an awesome event, not only with us. Dan and John will be a part of it as well over at the Indiana Historical Society. Some more details to come. Tickets will be on sale next week for that.
Are you going to bring like a top hat? We'll do like show tunes, right? Aren't we doing show tunes and stuff?
Is this like the Greatest Showman?
I think we're supposed to come out. Mark, you're doing.
You guys are going to reenact the Young Frankenstein scene where they do Taco putting on the Ritz. You guys are in 3-piece suits.
You know what's interesting? The Young Frankenstein. Then afterwards, I'm actually going to critique it. There
you go.
It's a horrible film.
Is that when people start to head their cars?
Wow, is the bar still open? Let me go see.
They're like, I'm just here to see Dockage and J&V. Who are these clowns? Yeah.
Will that
But
be
you're
the
gonna see
intermission?
everybody.
Will the intermission act be your accent?
That's right.
We're going to keep Jake on stage for this one.
Hey, everyone, throw down a couple of pints and some larceny bourbon. Yeah.
Somebody's
Why
gonna
not,
pull
right?
the fire alarm at that point.
Just like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Freebie Friday, right, Mark? But obviously no Golden Gloves action with
Golden
that.
Gloves is done. We still have the Jiffy Lube prize pack, though.
Pop quiz coming up. We had a winner. Yeah, how about Graham yesterday? What
Graham
an
was
effort
big,
by
man.
Graham.
Are we counting that as a legit 5-5? Because I feel
What
like
do you mean?
Jake kind of walked him too.
I think Jake only helped him out with one of
I
them.
actually, he was pretty good on it. Scotty is here as the judge and jury. Scotty, we were pretty.
Graham
We
guessed
didn't really
his
give it
way.
away, right?
Well, Scotty, you got to speak up during that time.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020.
Throw
when
an
you go back and
eraser
look
at Jake or something.
Why should I speak up if it's already out of his mouth?
That's true.
Look at the film. Today, Scotty's going to crack the whip, though. We've never had 2 in a week.
These look pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I will tell you this much.
Him going all multiple choice is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have done that.
It's a freebie Friday, but these questions are manageable.
We'll do that here in about 10 minutes, 317-239-1070. Let's go with the morning checkdown.
The Morning Checkdown. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Relieving your joint pain at QCkinetics.com. On 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Jake NBA playoffs last night. The Heat clinched 99-90. Jimmy Butler 32. Just epitomizes Miami. They clinch on the road with guys named Gabe Vincent and Max Strus.
Epitomized
in their starting lineup.
James Harden, too, because he was absolutely in absentia. What, did he have 11 last night and took one shot in the fourth quarter?
2011, yeah. 2011-5 for Strus, but yeah, Harden an absolute no-show there.
Did you hear what Embiid said about him? He said, I think a lot of fans thought we were going to get the Houston version. He's not that guy anymore. Like, oof.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Really, for the Pacers,
That's
you're
a
going to
fender
get.
bender.
I think you're going to get Philly and Utah kind of blowing it up, and the dominoes of that. What can you get off of that? Because Deshaun Watson to Cleveland directly didn't help the Colts, but the Matt Ryan thing played off that. I'll be interested to see if the Pacers can wiggle their way into any of that. Because was it the Harden trade? Is that how the Pacers got Karis LeVert? Harden to Brooklyn?
I think that's right.
Wasn't that like a three-way trade?
No, Harden was part of the Ben Simmons trade, wasn't he?
Was he? There was some trade.
Yeah, it was the Ben Simmons Harden trade.
Was that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Ben Simmons Harden trade just happened.
Yeah.
But Harden from Houston to Brooklyn, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I
see what you're
Karis
saying.
LeVert got
I think that's right.
involved in that. So, again, can the Pacers go there? So we'll see that. Dallas forced a Game 7, 113-86. Luka had 33, and that Game 7 will be on Sunday in Phoenix.
Major League Baseball, break up the Reds. 4-0 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Connor Overton getting the win. He had 6.5 innings pitched. 6.5, is that right? Can you do a half? No, a third. 6 1/3.
I think it was their first quality start of the year.
Gave up a run and 3 hits. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be their first shutout of the year, right?
Yeah, easily. Yep, 4-0 there. A 4-hitter combined with 2 other pitchers for the Redlegs.
NHL last night. Bunch of Game 7s in the NHL, right?
We got 3 tomorrow.
Carolina and I can't read my handwriting here. Boston beat Carolina 5-2. That forces a Game 7. Also, Tampa over Toronto 4-3, also forcing a Game 7. St. Louis avoided a Game 7. They eliminate the Minnesota Wild, but the Edmonton Oilers 4-2 over the Kings. That is also now forcing a Game 7. Game 7 hockey is fantastic.
Ooh, I love it. I know a lot of people care about rookie Colts numbers. Take a gander of Alec Pierce's number to start rookie minicamp.
Ooh.
He was 12 in college.
15. It's already what was Pascal?
Campbell moved from 15 to 1. Dorsett used to be 15. 14.
Darn it. That was close.
Didn't Michael Pittman change his number? Wasn't he like 80-something in camp and then changed to 11? 11 looks much cleaner.
Can't they all just be 80s?
Jelani Woods is 80.
By the way, I would like to read you something right now. You ready?
I'm ready.
As part of a 4-team trade, James Harden was traded by the Houston Rockets to the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets traded Jarrett Allen and Torian Prince to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Brooklyn Nets traded Rodanis Kiritz, a 2021 first-round pick, a 2022 first-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick, a 2024 first-round pick, a 2025 first-round pick, a 2026 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick to the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets,
etc.
The Brooklyn Nets traded Karis LeVert to the Indiana Pacers, the Cleveland Cavaliers trade, and then there's like 7 more paragraphs. So you were right.
That was when an et cetera needed to be used.
That literally was one half of that trade.
2:00, our coverage begins tomorrow for the GP race. And Jake, just the beginning of a busy weekend in racing.
You know, courtesy of the Speedrome, we'll take a look here at the racing schedule over the course of the week. Yes, in fact, IndyCar on the road course. You just heard Kevin mention GMR Grand Prix Saturday at 2:00. You can hear right here on this radio station. A lot of F1 guys might be watching it because they have the week off. Formula One is in Barcelona next week for the Pirelli Spanish Grand Prix. NASCAR is in Phoenix. That race is Sunday at 3:30. And if you need more racing this month than just the schedule I just gave you, and yes, you do, because you need to look no further than the Tom Wood Group Indianapolis Speedrome, which is powered by Lincoln Tech, and, of course, Circle City Raceway. I know you folks love to see racing on dirt, and you can see it now at Circle City Raceway that is now right here in the Marion County Fairgrounds. On Saturday night, though, at the Speedrome, they will again feature family-friendly, that's a key, racing action, which means great food, free parking, and outrageous fun. As always, the night is topped off with the world-famous, totally unpredictable, wild figure eight racing. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. You know, you want to get kids to be introduced to a sport or introduced to a hobby. You want to get them that racing bug. What better way to do it than to let your kids go out on a speedrome, a real racetrack with their big wheel. Kids 5 and under are going to be able to do the big wheel racing right there on the track. How cool is that for your kids to be able to say, you know what, I raced actually on an actual racetrack. Indianapolis Speedrome does exactly that for you. It is affordable family entertainment because adult tickets are just $10. Kids 8 and under are free. All of the information for the Speedrome available at speedrome.com. Now, as for racing on dirt, Circle City Raceway at the Marion County Fairgrounds. The sprint cars dominate the month of May. This Sunday, the Jonathan Bird's 410 sprint cars will headline a full night of action that includes Speed 2 Midgets, Outlaw Micros, and the Shirley Unlimited Snow Company, UMP Modifieds, making their season debut. And during Indy Race Week, USAC National Sprints will be racing the 25th and 26th of May. Indy Midget Week on June 8th will also be racing. You can find all the information, all the scheduling for that at CircleCityRaceway.com. That's the Indianapolis Speedrome and Circle City Raceway, your Indianapolis racing destinations.
Pay off your debt in 21 days or less and apply for your simple cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
The AES 500 Festival Parade is Saturday, May 28th. We're going to be there, and you should too. Go to 1075thefan.com/events to get more details.
You want to do your own lawn care and pest control, but you're not sure if you can get pro results? You can with DoMyOwn.com. They have pro products, the pro knowledge, and the pro support you need to use them. DoMyOwn.com for the pro in you.
One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. Hey, it's Mark from Kevin and Query, and what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel Sportsbook. Combine NBA playoff player props that you like with your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to win an even bigger payout. So here's one for today. Celtics taking on the Bucks. I think the Bucks close it out. I've got the Bucks on the money line, and Al Horford over 12.5 points, plus over 8 runs in the Reds and Pirates. And I'm riding the Reds on the money line. A $10 bet with all 4 of those pays out over $129. There's no better place to bet sports than on FanDuel Sportsbook. The app is safe, secure, and easy to use. They have everyday odds boosts and specials. And when you win, you get paid quick. If you don't want to build your own same-game parlay, check out their popular same-game parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code MARK to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Just use promo code MARK so they know I sent you. MARC. 21 and over and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is now a drawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Looking for a job that puts you in the racing action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Eclipse Staffing and Security is hiring right now for guest services, credential checking, gate and cooler checking, the snake pit, and private events. You can earn great pay and be a part of the team that makes sure the greatest spectacle in racing goes off without a hitch. One of the best parts of working at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in May, with Eclipse Staffing and Security, you can work a flexible schedule. That's right, Eclipse will work with you based on your schedule. So if you have an interest in working at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this month in guest services, credential checking, gate and cooler checking, the snake pit, and private events, contact Eclipse Staffing and Security, 317-426-3696. That's 317-426-3696. Or email info@eclipsestaffing.com. That's info@eclipsestaffing.com. Or even stop in at their office at 4555 Allisonville Road in Indianapolis. See you at the track.
Jake Query here. Recently I returned to college to finish my degree, and I encourage you to join me. Whether you're like me and life simply got in the way, or you never went to college at all, Indiana offers financial assistance for those ready to move forward. If I can do it, I know you can too. If you're looking for a better job or doing it for your family, Indiana has grants to pay for over 150 certificates in high-wage industries. You're sure to find a tuition-free option that fits you. To apply, visit nextleveljobs.org today. Sponsored by the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. That's nextleveljobs.org.
Terry Stacy here with your American Standard Race Day weather, brought to you by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer. The IndyCar GMR Grand Prix is Saturday on the road course at IMS. 80 degrees and a 50% chance of thunderstorms. Better keep the Firestone rain tires ready. NASCAR in Kansas Sunday, 78 degrees and a 40% chance of rain. American Standard Race Day weather brought to you by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
It's a night of sports entertainment you never knew you needed, but you do. Wednesday, June 22nd, Kevin and Query, Dan Dockich, and JMV will be on stage together at the Indiana Historical Society. You and your buds are invited to a night in the Fan Cave, brought to you by Forum Credit Union. There'll be sports talk, bad jokes, food, and of course, beer. Fan newsletter subscribers can buy tickets beginning Wednesday. General public tickets available Friday. For tickets and more information, go to 1075thefan.com. Have you studied? Can you handle the pressure? Sharpen your pencils. It's time for the Pop Quiz with Kevin and Query. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
I think it's a very manageable pop quiz today. Of course, it's a freebie Friday, which helps, but I think it's very manageable.
It's not typically something we say the day after a 5 for $5er, but Scotty, maybe a little soft here in the month of May. Jake?
Scotty getting a little cocky there. Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
Jake, at number 1 through 8.
Let's see. Number 1 through 8. That is a good question. The GMR Grand Prix begins on Saturday at 2 p.m. And I will be in the Oval turn number 2. So in the honor of Reb Porter, we'll go to.
That's the number of hours you got sleep last night, too, right?
Exactly
right,
correct.
And
yes.
we're feeling that, aren't we, this morning?
Daniel.
Okay.
Daniel.
Morning, buddy.
Morning, Daniel. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy.
Good. Daniel, we had a 5 for $5er yesterday. Your thoughts on doing something we've never seen in the show's history, 2 in a week?
Give it a shot. See what we can do.
Daniel, just out of curiosity, how old a fella are you?
32.
32. When you were a kid, were the ads running on commercials for My Buddy? Remember those ads? Am I too old for that? Do you remember that?
Well, it probably been mid-90s, so
okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you call most people buddy, or were you being folksy?
Nah, I call most people buddy, pal.
You sound like a nice guy,
Daniel
actually.
and I are the same age. Daniel, did you grow up around here?
Yeah.
Where at?
Oh, South Side.
What high school?
Southport.
So did you attend, what are the 2 middle schools that feed into Southport High School?
Southport Middle. I moved around a lot growing up, so.
Okay. Did you enjoy Southport?
I'd rather went to Perry.
Okay, fair enough.
Been to both those. I went to a wrestling match one time at Perry. It's a great atmosphere there. All right, let's see how Daniel does. Jake, throw number 1 at him.
Question number 1 for you, Daniel. Who won the first IndyCar Series race on the IMS road course back in 2014 and then afterwards got out of the car and said wee wee when he was asked to be won? Will Power, Simon Pagenaud, Scott Dixon, or Sebastian Bourdais?
I'll take Sebastian.
Are you on a moped?
Tyler.
Okay.
Daniel, you want to guess the other Frenchman?
What was the other Frenchman?
Power, Pagenaud, Dixon, or Bourdais?
Yeah, Simon Pagenaud.
Wee wee is what Colts fans are going to say when they're at Times Square on New Year's Eve, too, by the way.
What they can't do, right?
Yeah.
Matt Taylor's depends.
No public restrooms. Wee wee.
Oh, is it made for 2?
Yeah, come on.
I guess it is. The Miami Heat eliminated the 76ers from the playoffs last night to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat are in the conference finals for the second time in 3 seasons, advancing there like they did in the bubble 2020, where they got to the Lakers, or excuse me, they got to the NBA Finals in the bubble, where they lost to the Lakers. Who did Miami beat in the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble to advance? Boston, Milwaukee, Toronto, or Brooklyn?
Milwaukee.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, Daniel, what interstate are you driving right now?
465.
Everything moving smoothly?
Yeah, a little bit. Still rush hour. Just got done, so.
Okay. All right, question number 3. Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers has hit for the cycle 3 times in his career, which ties him for the most in Major League history. Interestingly enough, all 3 times that he has hit for the cycle, he did it against the same opponent. Was it the Cubs, Pirates, Cardinals, or Reds? This was a movie, by the way, 1982 Best Film nominee, I believe, was the title of the movie about some Russians, I believe. The same as this team. What's that? It was the Best Picture winner, Scotty tells me.
Okay, but I'm sorry, Cubs.
Cubs, Pirates, Cardinals, or Reds? It's a movie about the Russians, I believe.
I'll go the Reds.
Okay.
Don't look now, but here come the Red Legs.
Scorching hot. Skyline chili hot. On this day in 1976, the final championship series in the American Basketball Association history wrapped up. Who won the final ABA title? Denver Nuggets, Kentucky Colonels, New York Nets, or San Antonio Spurs?
Go with the Colonels.
Okay. Now I'm guessing. So by the way, the Kentucky Colonels had a great player. I believe Louis Dampier played for the Colonels, right, Scotty? Yes. Yep. He was out of Southport High School, by the way. Were you born in 90 or 91, Daniel?
I'm sorry?
Maybe 89 if he's like.
Yeah. What year were you born, Daniel?
89.
Okay. 1990, the Southport Cardinals went to the Final Four at the Hoosier Dome. On this day in 1950, the first ever Formula One race was run with Farina winning in an Alfa Romeo. I believe it was Giuseppe Farina. Where did the first ever Formula One race take place? Was it in Germany, Italy, Silverstone in England, or Monaco?
We'll go with Monaco. That's a guess.
That's a good guess. Okay.
Well, Scotty, you're happy. Daniel,
Freebie
appreciate you
Friday.
calling in. Freebie Friday. Jiffy Lube prize pack coming your way, so stay on the line. The first IndyCar Series race on the IMS Road Course, 2014. The winner of that, Jake, Will Power, seemingly has won every one of them, I feel like. But
you're right. Simon Pagino, the correct answer.
Holy my.
The Heat in the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals to get to the NBA Finals and face the Lakers in the bubble. They beat, he said, the Bucks.
He's close. Boston Celtics.
You blew it!
You don't get to come back tomorrow. You don't even get a lousy copy of our home game. You're a complete loser.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Here's a good trivia question for you, Kevin. By the way, the other answers that were correct, the Reds, the Nets, and Silverstone in England was the first F1 race. Can you recall, do either of you recall, that famous Rick Carlisle soundbite that we run? Well, it was fun while it lasted. Who was he talking about?
Yes, I know.
Do you remember, Mark?
I'm blanking for a second, but
just turn on E.
Correct. And I don't know if that player did he sign anywhere else?
Yeah. With Marc's team.
That's right, he did.
That's right. He went up because remember Carlisle said, like, somebody said, "What do you think of the way Tristan Thompson contributed for you?" And that's what he said. And then he said, he's heading up north.
Remember how well he played that night?
He did. Played really well.
I think that was the last good game he had. I don't know if he didn't help him in the playoffs. I know that much.
Judging by how the Bulls season ended, that's probably accurate. All right, we'll do it one final time. Recap the schedule, preview a busy weekend here locally. Coming up next.
Jake Query here. You know, recently I returned to college to finish my degree, and I encourage you to join me. Whether you're like me and life simply got in the way, or you never went to college at all, Indiana offers financial assistance for those ready to move forward. If I can do it, I know you can too. If you're looking for a better job or doing it for your family, Indiana has grants to pay for over 150 certificates in high-wage industries. You're sure to find a tuition-free option that fits you. To apply, visit nextleveljobs.org today. Sponsored by the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. That's nextleveljobs.org.
When a health system treats patients with the very best in medical care and compassion, it needs a rare kind of staff. That's why Eskenazi Health never stops looking for professionals who understand that technology is most effective when paired with a genuine human touch. If you are a nurse,
a social worker,
or another professional interested in a career with us, visit eskenazihealth.edu/careers. Eskenazi Health, one of Becker's 150 great places to work in healthcare.
Hey, it's Jan V. Sometimes you're just cruising through life and, well, something happens that's not your fault. You're in an accident. It causes injuries to both you and your family, and those medical bills can sure add up quickly. That's where Paul Cruz at Par Ritchie can help. Paul is recognized by the Super Lawyers Organization and his peers as one of the top personal injury attorneys in Indiana. Make the free call to see if Paul can help you. 317-269-2509, parinjury.com, P-A-R-R, injury.com.
It's a fact. Only 0.0001% of people will ever step up to the plate as a pro baseball player. For the rest of us, there's BetRivers.com Sportsbook app. Featuring same-game parlays, you can combine different bets all from the same game. Totals? Bet 'em. Spreads? Bet 'em. Player props? It's a home run. Download the BetRivers.com Sportsbook app today. It's a whole new game.
Must be 21. Must be located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
Hey, it's Jake Query. Wendy's has one kind of breakfast, a better one. Start your day with a Wendy's sausage gravy and biscuit. We're talking savory grilled breakfast sausage and a creamy Southern-style black pepper gravy served on top of a warm, freshly baked buttermilk biscuit. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Your home for the 2022 NBA playoffs and the NBA Finals. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's
Kevin and Query on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kevin, recap for me, if you will, the content that you have made available for people that want to take a look and further decipher the Colts' schedule.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We've got a 17-game rundown of the schedule up on the site, kind of 1 to 2 sentences on each game. And then I did a 6 takeaways from the schedule in general. That's a separate article. It's also up on the site. And if I could plug one more, just posted something on the 22 undrafted free agents for the Colts. Jake, I think a lot of people believe multiple names will come out of this group and make the Week 1 roster.
Interesting.
Running back, they've got 3 of them. They've got a lot of wideouts. We obviously know wide receiver has some open roster spots. There's some intriguing defenders. There's a Cicero, Indiana native.
Really?
As well. Sterling Weatherford. His family has produced...
Where did Sterling go to college?
Miami, Ohio.
That sounds like there's not Sterling Weatherford.
Do you remember, this was... I don't even know if he lasted at Purdue very long. Grant Weatherford, little point guard.
Vaguely.
Yeah, I don't know how long he played there.
Sterling Weatherford.
I think that's his brother.
I enjoyed an ascot yesterday. He came over and brought me a new ascot. We smoked
Tea and crumpets
together. Tea and crumpets, yes.
And your guy, Skolsky.
Quite the opposite of Sterling Weatherford.
Yeah. James might be one of those. If they make that Vegas trip, you should probably watch out for.
The antithesis.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
So that is all up on the website right now. Your latest in the driver features.
So at the Indy 500 tab on our website, I'm writing up a little biography, literally 2-3 paragraphs on every driver in the field of the Indy 500. And the idea is this, not if you are necessarily like my buddy Kyle Lewis that is, all in on IndyCar, but rather if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I need somebody to root for. I don't know much about the sport. Find something that's intriguing about them, including there's one on there that will be up by Monday probably. Maybe it already is. One of the drivers that will be racing in the Indianapolis 500 was actually born 15 weeks premature, spent the first 4 weeks of his life in an incubator weighing less than 1 pound. They read him his last rites when he was an infant. Now we'll be racing in the Indy 500. That's one of the snippets, if you will, in the bios that you can find.
That's
107.5 The Fan. And then I think next week they're going to put on the website, I believe Monday, I'll be doing like a live stream chat while we air the debut of the Golden Badge, brought to you by Chapman Heating and Air. Jeff Chapman's a great guy, the man for all seasons.
I love. Will you tell us more? Because I was able to watch these videos. These are awesome.
Well, I went out to the Speedway, and I appreciate you watching them, Kevin, because, I need a click. Went out to the Speedway a couple of weeks ago, spent a while in the pace car with Doug Boles, and they had cameras all over, kind of like the Seinfeld comedians in Cars with Coffee or whatever. But Doug and I drove around the track in the pace car, and we just talked about the track, the changes to the track, the changes to the venue. He pointed out several areas that they made improvements. We pointed out areas of the racetrack that were where historical things have happened. That's one of the videos. And then the other are all behind the scenes stuff of the Speedway. I show the 9th floor of the pagoda where like security command is and where the IMS radio network is headquartered in terms of where it's all produced. The roof of the pagoda where you can see where all the spotters are and you can see probably the best vantage point. My broadcast location out in turn number 3. The area where the public address is, where Dave Calabro, Alan Bestwick are, and where Tom Carnegie, Bob Jenkins, timing and scoring inside of the pagoda. Things like that. The infield care center, the media center, just kind of the historical stories of the Speedway.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Jake, something that you've heard me talk about the class I teach at IU, and this is the 3rd year that I've wrapped up that class. Something that I harp to them all the time is the phrase, use your credential. We're granted this tremendous access with a credential to these behind-the-scenes areas, and it's our job to take the fans behind that curtain.
Correct.
That's our job. Use your credential. Those videos is exactly that. I love the behind the scenes. That is one of the biggest, sheer size, one of the biggest sporting venues in the world. We all have seen the map of all the venues you can fit inside of it, etc. And I thought you did a wonderful job. Your insight, the encyclopedia that you have for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the 500 race speaks for itself. And I really hope fans take a closer look at those videos. I believe on our YouTube page, correct?
Correct.
And that starts Monday?
Correct. So
must
6 o'clock, I think, on Monday is when they drop, as the kids say. So I appreciate you watching this, Kevin. Mark, have you gotten any update from your folks?
I will get them once we get off the air today. We'll see what's going on.
I want you to be honest, and I don't mean it, kidding aside. On a 1 to 10 scale, your level of concern. I mean, I know care, obviously, but are you worried about this, or do you think
probably a 7?
Okay, that's
because
the
fender bender, and then what they described, which was not a fender bender, it's like, well, that sounds a little more serious than what it was.
So now, for those that weren't listening earlier, your parents are in Oregon, right?
They're in Oregon. My dad had a business trip, and then he only had to work 2 days out there, but then they took the rest of the time off for vacation, so my mom went with them to just have a little vacation with themselves, which was well-deserved. And then their first day out, they got into a quote-unquote fender bender, but the driver that hit them had to be airlifted. He's expected to survive, according to my dad. And then my dad has a couple injuries, and then my mom apparently might have broken her ankle, but I haven't heard much since then.
Now, the one thing about this that is of intrigue to me, and I want you to get to the bottom of this and give us a report on Monday, but your dad had some inconsistency in his reporting of what was going on in terms of their locale, correct?
Yes. So I'm hoping there wasn't like a concussion protocol going on because... Yeah, they said, we're sitting next to each other. We just got x-rays done, just sitting next to each other. The very follow-up text was from my dad, and he said, I'm going to go see your mom in her room shortly. I thought you were just sitting next to her. He's like, oh, whoops. So I don't know what the whoops was, but...
Is it the whoops because he slipped up? He was trying to...
The consistency in stories are finally getting a little...
Yeah, it feels like me trying to explain to them, where were you last night? And I'm like, well...
What do you mean? I was on the couch the whole time.
Yeah. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll try to get the straight answers once we get off the air today.
Okay.
Give
all the seriousness,
hopefully very positive update on Monday.
I was going to say, I do hope everything is okay on that front. Jake, cars on the track right now, right?
Yeah, so they get underway. So today's schedule, for those that are unfamiliar, you have Indy Lights, which is the AAA, so to speak, and then IndyCar on track today. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the schedule right now. The IndyCar practice, the first practice is right now about halfway through. The IndyCars will be on the track until 10:30. Then at 10:45 today, Indy Lights will practice for 45 minutes. That is from 10:45 to 11:30. IndyCar has a second practice from 12:45 to 1:45. Then Indy Lights qualifies at 2 o'clock. IndyCar qualifies at 4 o'clock. And then Indy Lights has a race at 5:25 until 6:30 this evening. So... a lot going on out there. I was out yesterday. The Mazda Road to Indy was out running, and everything. I mean, to go out there, and even the F2000 cars were out on the track, and you can certainly see the speed up in the corners. The track looked great. I mean, they've got everything ready to go, and let's hope the weather holds out here for. We'll see what the weather's going to be like this weekend, but it's just cool. I mean, I just love being out there. I get it. I get that a lot of people maybe have never been out. So I hope they get a chance to go out and experience it sometime in the next week or so, especially, I mean, Kevin, once the ovals practice, it's a whole different ballgame, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to get out there next week. It was fun even just going to get my credential a few days ago, and that was outside of the oval. Arenas VK defending champ. I'll go Colton Herta. You got a winner?
That's it. Romain Grosjean was really good last year. Could have won that race. Rennes VK won. I'm looking at the scoring. Thank you, Scotty. Here's how they stand right now in terms of the speeds. No surprise here. Do you want to guess who's the fastest so far in this session?
Pato O'Ward.
I'll give you a hint. This guy has a record for most starts within the front three rows in consecutive years. He did it 11 years in a row in the 500. He has one win in the 500.
Power.
Correct. Will Power's fastest, followed by Felix Rosenquist, Simon Pagenaud, Alex Palou, and then Kevin's name, Colton Herta. That's the top 5 right now. Scott Dixon, Christian Lundgaard, Alexander Rossi, Pato O'Ward, and Joseph Newgarden rounding out the top 10. There have been, looks like 27 cars have taken to the track Juan Montoya, 24th out of the 27. He struggled last year as well on the road course, which is interesting to me because this is a guy that, he's won Formula One races. He's been there in multiple circuits. He had said, Montoya, when he got that deal, that he needed to lose 5 to 10 pounds. And I'm like, he had like 2 weeks to do that.
Was he a wrestler?
I don't know if he lost it. Yeah, that's right.
Pacers Gaming's in action tonight, 9 p.m., Pan Am Plaza. We had Brendan Donahue, the president of the NBA 2K League, on earlier this week. I enjoyed that.
Those are $10 or $15 tickets. I remember they were affordable, right? $15?
Yeah.
Pretty affordable.
He wants to get us over there.
How long are they? Now, this is like the USFL, right? Everybody's
just
in
this
one
weekend.
venue? Just this weekend,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Just this weekend. A little 2K action as well. 3 Game 7s in the NHL tomorrow. We know we'll have 1 Game 7 in the NBA at least. That'll be Suns and Mavericks on Sunday. We'll see. Milwaukee, a chance to close it out at home tonight. Same thing with Golden State. I'm going to head up to West 56th Street for the rookie mini camp.
I was going to ask what your weekend looks like.
Yep. Maddie's out of town, so Rosie duty. Besides that, I'll be listening to you guys tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe outside in the backyard, get a little splash pad out for Rosie and dial you guys up for the race.
Do you know there is one driver in the series that can speak his native language, so there you know it's not a Native American. He can speak his language backwards.
Do that again?
He can speak backwards. I have no idea how you would do that.
Race car is spelled the same.
Like
Harry could do that.
Forwards?
He could, yeah. So instead of think about that, you would say nit tuaba tot. I guess, unless it means just guess
Rinus
I.
VK, Dutch.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Okay. You got to look at the profiles on 107.5 The Fan and read through them. You can figure out which one it is that
That's
speaks backwards.
Such a good bad tease.
Think about that.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
That would actually be have a taw, I think, right? That's a decent tease, though. I don't know how you do that.
That's a very good tease.
I don't know how you would be born. There was a president, one of the U.S. presidents.
Sounds like you speaking British.
That's right. Yes, speaking British. One of the U.S. presidents, and I can't remember which. It was one of the fat bearded guys.
Oh, that narrows it down.
Boy, yeah.
Well, that was all. What's that? Garfield could write in 2 different languages with both hands at the same time. That's unbelievable to me.
What? How?
And he loved lasagna.
God, well,
Garfield.
I can agree with the latter. I can't agree with the former.
I'm just telling you. Did you know, by the way, and then I promise we're fleshing this out, did you know that Jim Davis, who writes Garfield, whose initials are JD, is from the exact same town, Fairmount, Indiana, as James Dean, also initials JD. Town of 1,100 people, 2 world-famous people, same initials. Always found that weird.
Jake, have a great weekend. Hope the weather cooperates for everyone over there at IMS. Thanks for listening. Been a fun week here. Marc Dykton, as always, Kevin Bowen.